All is remembered. Oh, let me start over. I asked, didn't I? Welcome everyone, CCD meeting Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. Call to order and roll call.
Tom Tucson,
Here.
David Hume,
Here.
Rick Felak is running a few minutes late, but he will be here.
Yes.
Jill Hart,
Here.
Jack McCall.
Here. All right, let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, motion to approve the agenda, and I think we wanted to make one change.
Yeah, I have one change. Can we move 7A? After the sheriff before staff reports?
That is the pond bank restoration RFP.
Unless they want to sit here through our entire meeting.
No, probably not.
For their benefit, let's do that.
Yes.
You only do it when they go.
No. Yeah, I need a motion for that.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we got the motion. Well, I guess that is the approval of the agenda. Moving on to audience comments. Anybody have anything to say? No? Sure, a lot of people here. Okay, well, there'll be another chance later on in the meeting for audience comments. Let's move to third party representative, Representative Spencer.
Should be joining shortly. I'm Riley.
Good. So why don't we move to Pro? Pro? Nobody here. All right, yeah. let's move
Not
on.
officially.
Not officially.
Come on.
2 months.
I see some badges. Yes.
Well, we'll move on to the sheriff.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing? It's been a while. Some of you might recognize me. Well, I don't know. I think last time I was here, I had hair. So
I knew you were gonna say that. That's
So Pete Yeager, Austin County Sheriff's Office, captain now over the Community Service Division. Been talking to the company by phone or by emails. I ran the division as a lieutenant, as a sergeant years back, so I was here for pretty much the start of celebration on through to having a deputy out here to getting away from all that to kind of bringing some stuff back. So I'm kind of here to give you some good news. This area obviously has always been near and dear to my heart. I had Jerry Wyland out here underneath me for many years. Jerry is actually coming back to the unit and is going to be one of the liaisons for out here, and him and self and Ron Cole, Deputy Cole back here. So great news about them is one of them knows the area better than anybody else, Jerry. And Deputy Cole was actually the chief code enforcement officer for 18 years, and also accounting most of the ordinances and the code enforcement board stuff that you see. He wrote a good chunk of it. So we're looking at doing some things. We've been out here. I don't know if you noticed in the last couple of weeks, we started doing bike patrol. We saw on the news because people thought my guys were ICE agents. No, they're not. They don't have masks on, so that's a clear indication. And it does say sheriff, but we came out. I was out for a meeting right after I got promoted to captain in October. There was a lot of concerns about the e-bikes, so I wanted to address it right away because when I make a promise, I keep it. So the sheriff was at the meeting. Him and I talked. He's like, "Hey, get the bikes back, get stuff you need, get back doing what you were doing. I want you." That's why he brought me in. He's a phenomenal sheriff, and he listens. He literally listens to what people ask. So it took a few weeks, and of course the holidays and everything else. And I got everything up and running because the last sheriff had annihilated the unit and got rid of all the equipment we needed. So quite frankly, we had to rebuild everything. So we started hitting it. We were out here. We've issued 37 written warnings. So we start with warnings. We don't want to come out and just tax a bunch of kids over it because who is it? It's kids. And the fact of the matter is just educational. So we're actually working on an educational video. We're going to have it out here pretty soon that we're going to send to all the schools. We're going to have the SROs kind of implement that because a big chunk of it's from the schools. But we did start coming out and we started having contacts, just making contacts, riding. We're using bikes because you can't catch them in a car, quite frankly. It's almost impossible. Even on a bike, a couple of my guys were complaining they wanted e-bikes. I told them no, pedal faster. Lose weight. We were off bikes for quite some time, so they're having to get back into it. And even I'm going to come out and help. You see me, they run for me. It's a problem because I'm still very fast just because they get anxious and run from me. So they don't want me chasing them down. But all joking aside, we're looking at literally doing a minimum of 1 to 2 days a week. You're gonna see us out here every week on bike patrol at some point. So now, we're like vampires. You asked for it. So if you're doing other silly stuff like speeding and stuff like that, we don't care if we saw you sitting in here. Indian Point one time invited us in and we wrote half the board tickets for speeding. So.
Taking notes, taking notes.
And on bikes, we run radar and everything on bikes too. Just because you don't see a car doesn't mean we're not running radar. Because we're not only going after that, traffic's a killer throughout the whole county. The sheriff, right after he took over, we had a meeting. He's like, it's insane. We've got to really get a handle on some of this traffic issues. And obviously he came from FHP, so he's big on traffic. So the bike thing is the best route for this neighborhood, for this community. It really is. And we've done it over the years and it works. So the e-bike thing we're attacking right now, we hit it pretty hard. Like I said, we issued a bunch of warnings, a bunch of verbal warnings. We talked to over 60 kids between the two schools. So that's a lot of just face-to-face talking to them about it. We're hoping that's the first stage. If that doesn't work, I recruited him back to come back to work with me because the next step will be looking at putting something together for the county for an ordinance. And he's an expert at that stuff. So I don't really want to go to that route. I'm hoping we can, our job is behavior modification. I hope we can modify it by just presence. And once we start having the right people and the parents start getting the citations, they're not going to be happy. So we're hoping that'll curtail it because we don't really want to do the ordinance thing because then you start it becomes a policing state. We don't want that. But we'll go that route if we have to because we can't have people getting run over. We can't have the stuff that's happening. Kids doing 30 miles an hour down sidewalks. It's insane. It's very dangerous. So we're gonna do what we can to help it. Plus, we're gonna be out here on bikes and just taking care of other stuff, answering calls and just doing other stuff. So stats really quick. Who asked me for the stats? This is all the stats for. So that's right, Jack. Okay, I knew that. I should have known. Okay. I'm not a big stat guy because stats to me are looking backwards and we are looking forward now on stuff. But I will tell you, and Jack, I can leave this with you if you want.
I have a copy of it already.
What's that?
The blotter, is that what it is?
No, this is all regular stats for the whole last year.
Okay.
This is everything. The problem with these stats is sometimes like there's 3 shootings. There was not 3 shootings here. It's Celebration Hospital. So when they come in there, you know what happens. This has been a long time, but you remember all this.
Yeah.
So this is the number of calls we have, and there's nothing on here that's that significant. What I look for is like open cars, burglaries. One of the things we do when we ride bikes is we'll stop. If we see a house with the garage door open and nobody around, we'll actually stop and knock on the door and say, listen, we understand it's broad daylight. That's when people pull up and take stuff. Do us a favor. If you're not going to be outside, just close the garage door. So a lot of the crime prevention stuff, you won't know that we're doing unless we approach you about it. Unlock cars. If we ride by and see a car unlocked, we'll usually ask the homeowner, hey, do us a favor and lock the car doors. Because if you don't, anybody in here fish? You get your favorite fishing hole. Well, that's what happens with the thieves. They get their favorite fishing hole. If they come in and find a bunch of unlocked cars, they'll tell people and they'll keep coming back. So we want to curtail that. So tons of burglary alarms here, 340. That's a lot. That's another thing we got to work on down the road because what happens? Crying wolf, right? Alarms go off all the time and then response time gets really slow because they get tired of it. So
Are the majority of them false alarms?
like almost 100% of them.
One of
So-
them was here in the office a while back.
Yeah, so we don't want to go to, I was a victim of it at one of my other houses where they charge you for it. I don't want to go that route either because that sucks because I got charged a couple times. So because it happens, but we got to be smart about it. Now, what did it make me do? It made me be really careful, making sure that alarm didn't go off. So accidents, no injuries, 149. A lot of accidents because of the way people drive. A lot of those are side swipes, cars getting hit parked. A lot of the other stuff, 207 911 disconnects. It's quite a few. A lot of times that's juvenile related. People calling and it's accidental. So 10 burglaries were residents. So 23 vehicle burglaries. For a year's time up to date to this today, I literally had to do the stats today. It's not, I want 0, but that's pretty dang good. Okay. To put it in comparison, at Christmas time, certain areas, I don't want to call it out directly because then people get upset, but certain areas where there's retail establishments, we've had as many as 60 burglaries in one sitting in one night. So for a full year, that's really good. We want to keep that up. A lot of civil matters, that's normal. 17 criminal mischiefs. Criminal mischiefs are almost always known. Somebody makes somebody else mad, they do it on purpose, right? It's very rare. 20 DCF calls, a lot of abandoned vehicles, 60 of them. People get upset because people leave their cars because of a lot of people traveling out of country here. That happens. We had 2 drone incidents, 1 drowning, 16 drug cases, which could be anywhere around here. They pulled somebody and they pulled in. We get a lot of that. 11 drunk drivers, 7 drunk pedestrians, which is shocking. I think there would be a lot more when you have all the events downtown. That's actually pretty good. Pretty much the rest of these are just like falls, people falling down, ex partes, elevator emergencies. It's all little stuff. Fire vehicles, cars, that smoke, 2 gas odors, 14 harassments, a couple hit and runs, 13 information reports, which is nothing, 6 investigations, and 87 juvenile complaints. Well, the juvenile complaints are juvenile complaints, right? And I made a comment in this neighborhood 20 years ago about putting it back on the parents. So that's all we can do is put it back on the parents, right? 52 larcenies. What's going to happen is people, going after people for money. 3 lockouts, 28 lost properties, 127 noise complaints. Noise complaints, we're going to be working on noise complaints too. So if you have people that have habitual noise problems and we see it on the log, we're going to be addressing them under another program in community services now. So you may see that get reduced just because we're going to start reaching out to people, especially rentals, and we're going to start writing these little very expensive $500 tolls to people for not taking care of the noise stuff because they're renting the places out. So we're going to start targeting the actual owners of the places. Not so bad in here, but it's big on the outside of here. There's other places that, like Reunion has 300 Airbnbs. So we're going to start taxing the owners to make it better living conditions for everybody else. That's pretty much it. Some robbery alarms, seize tags, 5 sexual batteries, 1 sex offender, which was probably somebody in a car that was pulled over. And the 3 shootings aren't even from here. They were all Celebration Hospital. Okay.
I had a question for you, going back to the e-bikes, for the patrols and stuff. Do you just do that during the day? Is it day and night? It's anytime?
So we're going to do bike patrol both. So once again, we had to rebuild stuff. And if you know anything about government, we can't just rip out the credit card and buy stuff. So we actually just had to go through certain things, and we're buying lights for the bikes because we have to have lights. So we are outfitting them because we are going to come out at night, and we're going to come out all different hours, and we're coming out on weekends. So because like with the e-bikes, we need to do morning with this. It's almost all school related. Mornings with the schools, we need to do afternoon. We need to do Wednesdays because it's different schedules and parents work different. So you get more of an influx of people running on Wednesdays than you during the rest. We've been observing already and kind of keeping track. And then the same thing with the noise ordinances. We're coming out once a month throughout the county, and we're going to actually respond. Community Service Division, instead of patrol, is going to respond to noise complaints and address them.
Because I've noticed weekends, school holidays, that's when it's not just e-bikes.
Oh,
It's around, it's e-bikes, the kids on the e-bikes, there's damage being done.
Right.
Things are being thrown, there's games being played. I mean, there's a lot of chicken on Celebration Boulevard.
And that's that peeve of mine.
It's very dangerous.
Yes.
I think most residents are careful, but it's just a matter of time before somebody is fed up with it. I'm not gonna deal with it anymore, and they're just gonna power through.
Right.
And that's a big fear, but it's inevitable if we don't control it.
So here's what I'm going to ask from all of you, and you can let residents know. And we get Jerry back out here. He's going to be doing a lot of contact time. Take pictures. Send us pictures. Okay. Because if I can identify somebody, I'll go talk to mom and dad, because like I said, 90% is juvenile. And then if mom and dad don't want to respond to it, we'll move to the next step, and it'll get very expensive because the kid's not paying the ticket. And I don't care how much money you have. We have a guy right now that told us he had all the wealth in the world. Well, when we racked up $20,000 worth of noise ordinance citations, he also only changed his tune because it gets very expensive.
Yep.
Because we go to the Board of Adjustment, and we can raise the fine up to, what are we doing in $2,500?
Yeah.
Every time we knock on his door now, it's $2,500. Like, it's a little, I don't know about you, but I'm not wasting $2,500 every time because I want to play my music too
Well,
loud.
I know, and it's not, your guy's role isn't to make the money. Your guy's role is to go ahead and say, just to stop it.
Behavior modification, Rick. If I can stop it with a kind conversation, I'll make it happen. But I live by the mantra of ask, tell, make. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to make you. So you don't want me to get the make part. So not after 30 years of doing this. So
Got a question for you. Most of the e-bike violations, what have they been?
speed, excessive speed, and there's still a lot of gray area with them being on the sidewalks.
And that's what I want to address with you, because the House and the Senate have proposed bills coming up there, which I think are absolutely useless. Specifically, that you can't go faster than 10 miles per hour on a sidewalk within 50 feet of a person. How do you know how far you are away and how fast he's going?
Right.
And what a waste of time.
Yep.
I mean, my thought is that it's got to be a human powered vehicle on the sidewalk. Okay, you can have a motorbike on there, but you can't be pedaling it.
Right.
So that's what the law 316 was originally has in it. So do you have any input that you can?
No, and we're waiting because there's other factors coming up now because they're looking at age and everything else. Well, so now I'm going to be stopping children that have no form of ID. How do I, it's a lot of gray area. So, and I always joke about, so I had a 60-year-old has to wear a helmet on a bicycle, but a 50-year-old doesn't on a motorcycle that goes 120 miles an hour. So our rules are very all over the place. And if you question me right now about the actual rules of what they're doing, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know because I'm not the one out riding right now. My guys put together a cheat sheet. They sent it to me. I said, "Oh, that's nice. I don't have time to review it." All I told them is, "I want to see some enforcement. Go make it happen." And then at the end of the day, they said, "Oh, we had this many contacts today." I saw it on the news. I don't know if you guys saw the news thing of them.
Yeah.
So they're out here doing it because I hear them checking out. So I'm not gonna stand here and tell you I know the rules because, like you said, it's all over the place. I know there is stuff that's changing. He's actually discussed with me some county ordinance type stuff, but I don't want to push that yet. I don't want to throw the sledgehammer down yet until we get a little see what the law's going to do.
No, I understand.
Yes, sir.
So first of all, thank you. There's been a noticeable improvement. The prior sheriff, we had decreasing people and increasing costs. We're getting up to, $220,000 for, getting our details, and the details were giving us no information. We couldn't direct them, and it was a joke. So from Jerry to that, declining service, increasing costs. So we're all sitting here going, we needed data to know how big is our problem. So part of that data is helpful for us to know how bad is it? Because your other guy came in last meeting and goes, you guys don't have a problem. Well, okay, tell us why we don't have a problem. We can't see that data.
Right.
So give us the bladder, give us that, so we on the other side can say we really don't have a problem. We do have a problem. And then what is your ongoing commitment to doing these details so we don't have to pay these exorbitant rates? And it seems like, in your professional opinion, do we need to go and hire our own details, or can you cover our needs? That's the $1 million question.
You're always going to want to supplement with details. The details they are going to change with us. I think you're going to see some things change. I'm not going to speak specifically on it. I think you're going to see some positive changes for you guys. Do you need to hire them all for traffic? I think our impact's going to be very helpful. Now, would I still do some Friday nights and some other stuff? Absolutely. Because that's, if you ask for specifically traffic oriented details, writing tickets for speed and stuff like that, and you're not seeing those stats, my suggestion to you is if somebody's not doing anything when they're doing it and it's not being productive, then I don't want that person back. I would, and we can talk about that separate about giving you some advice on who you need out here. What we're going to do is free of charge. You're paying for it as taxpayers. So we're going to come out and do that. I'm doing that because I know it needs to be done. And I knew it was going to go downhill. And I'm not speaking on, I'm going to get a big political debate, but I got put on nights at Point Siena as a senior lieutenant for many years. When he took over, you could probably figure out we didn't see eye to eye. So my values and the way I do business is the way this sheriff wants. We see very eye to eye. We're very much alike. So he literally took it and he's running with what it needs to be done. So I'm going to tell you, it's going to be much better. You're going to see, you're already seeing it, and you're going to see it. And I promise you, we will be out. Now, I'm not coming out tomorrow morning when it's 40 degrees out. We are Florida boys and girls. So it's going to warm up a little bit.
By detail.
But we will be out.
We're pedaling slower. I know.
Yes, yes, that, and you know, and I, yeah. If you just been in the meeting the other day when they told me they were complaining about how fast the e-bikes are, I said, well, now you guys truly see the problem. And they, well, but Captain, it's hard to catch them. Pedal faster. They didn't think I was funny, but they are. We're coming up ways to combat it. So it's gonna get better. It's gonna be a combination of a lot of things, but we're gonna attack some people. I can tell you right now. There's gonna be people that just, no matter what we tell them, they're not gonna listen, and there's gonna be some pissed people. Sorry.
So based upon the new sheriff in town and your commitment, you would say to the board that you don't need another full-time Jerry.
No.
But you should supplement with some strategic Friday, Saturday, kind of high traffic things for specific activities. You will make a commitment to make sure that they do those activities and we can lessen our budget by $100,000.
Absolutely, and I would absolutely say it's great having downtown used to have the walking detail and all that, but what's our real issue on paper? Traffic.
Right.
So if something bad happens downtown, we're sending the fleet at downtown. What we need is people doing a lot of traffic stuff. So yes, we will be out riding. We will be out. You're going to see us. Like I said, I've already signed 2. I'm up to 6. I'm waiting on 1 more. I have 5 right now that are bikes because I had to recertify people. So this is all. I started in October. Last 2 weeks we started hitting it. Now we're going to start hitting it regularly. I just got him back. Yesterday. And Jerry is the next week or 2. Hopefully I'll have Jerry, and Jerry knows this area better than anybody. So, and that was one of my things for pulling him back in. Like, you know, it's like the lottery. It's like more like the NFL. It's first round draft picks. It's a lot of jockeying. So, all right. Is there anything else I can? And all I ask is, if you have issues, just let me know. You got my emails. All you can do is text me. If you get pictures of a certain car or somebody doing something stupid, and you see a pattern, send me that pattern. We'll correct that pattern. So,
Yeah, I mean, this is great. I just want to be clear. The expectation going forward, are you going to be coming every month to give this update to us?
yeah. What my goal is, once I get Jerry and Ron, where they're completely out here all the time, it'll be one of those 2.
All right.
So somebody will be at your meetings.
Got it.
So, and we would need that relationship where you could call them and know. That was the thing with Jerry's. Jack knows he can call and say, hey, I got this. Okay. I got a red Porsche doing 120 miles an hour 3 days a week. Well, we'll take care of that next week. So, right. That's what we're looking for.
Oh, never mind.
Are we good?
I think we are.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Silver.
Very much.
Great.
If you want to pass that on down, I'm going to let you hang on to that. That's, like I said, that's kind of give you an idea of everything. So first sheet's the numbers, the rest of it's just the actual print off.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
No problem. We're leaving. You all have a lovely evening.
Yeah.
Go fight traffic.
All right, so yes, I noticed that. Yeah. All right, so Representative Spencer, I think, you're on the line? You might be on mute.
Yes, I'm on the line. How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully
Very
y'all are
good.
staying warm.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, and if you heard that conversation with the sheriff, maybe the focus should be on e-bike legislation.
Maybe it should be. Maybe it should be. So, happy to be here tonight. First and foremost, thank you, Supervisor Felix, and all of the board for the invitation to be here today. I spent some time, listening to folks in the community, and I've heard from my staff that, and I've heard from the discussion tonight that e-bike safety is a top concern for all of you in celebration. But what I would tell you, I think it's really everyone, not just in celebration, but West Orange, Horizon West, Windermere. So it's really, I think, a top tier concern for many of our communities. And, I'm here tonight, to talk a little bit about CSHB 243. But I want you to know that, the other reason I'm here tonight is because I view myself as a bridge to the Capitol for all of you. And my goal, hopefully, is to have this discussion tonight and be able to take the feedback that all of you have directly back to the sponsors of the bill, as well as the committee chairs, so that we can try to make sure that this final version of the law is going to reflect the needs of your community. What you may know, I'm not sure if you've heard, but the bill is scheduled to be heard in committee coming up on Thursday. And so this discussion tonight, I think, is very timely because we all recognize how, crazy this issue has gotten and how it's affecting our communities, our children, our families, because the rise of these high-speed devices that, we see, minors on shared sidewalks and trails, it's creating, as we, heard in this discussion tonight, this major safety concern. And when we think about the concern and the legislation that's currently on the table, I think we need a more precise solution than what we currently have. Now, one of the most pressing issues I think I've heard from everyone and I've seen is that we need a clear legal separation between like a traditional e-bike and high-powered motorcycles. I heard a little bit of that discussion tonight, but I think without that distinction, it's going to be very difficult for law enforcement to effectively apply, any legislative intent, because it's going to make it difficult. I mean, it's difficult today for even parents to know the difference between the devices that they're buying for their children, whether it's an e-bike or an e-motorcycle. And so I'm working with the bill sponsor to find a solution. I'm hoping, we can come to some sort of definition that defines each of these devices properly. Further, as I think about it, and I've kind of dug into it, special districts like Celebration, I think you all need to be empowered to be able to independently regulate e-bike usage on the assets that you own, right? When you're thinking about your sidewalks, your trailways, and different amenities that you have in your community. And so I'm working with the bill sponsor to see if we can find a solution that's going to preserve, the local authority and autonomy that you need to operate, because no, community in Florida is the same. And, another thing that we need to address is the confusion, in this current draft of the bill. Um, as it stands, the bill considers class 3 e-bikes to be electric bicycles. And then it attempts to impose penalties like they were electric motorcycles. And so, as you might, quickly come to the realization, this is going to create some significant practical problems regarding learners' licenses. You think about Florida law, it's going to require typically a 15-year-old with a learner's license to be accompanied by a 20-year-old licensed driver, restricts them on nighttime operation of the vehicle. That's simply not practical when we talk about supervising a teenager on a bike path from a car. And so we have to think about how we clear up some of that language. And then, we have to, think about how these things would create the risk of, these confusing, conflicting conflicts. And it's just going to make it harder for citizens and police alike when we talk about how we regulate these things. And so I'm working with the bill sponsor to see if we can come to some type of determination on how we can reconcile some of these contradictions in the bill. And forgive me, it's been a long day. But I know I was speaking with Riley and the rest of the team, and we received some of Supervisor Felix' suggestions already. And so I'm going to take those, and I'm hoping that we can have a little bit more of a conversation tonight around this, so I can include those comments so that we can bring it back to the bill sponsors so we can be prepared for the hearing on Thursday. But at the end of the day, what my intent here and my priority is making sure that, this bill is going to solve problems from Celebration and not create new ones, right? And so that's why I'm here tonight, and I look forward to the conversation.
Anybody want to start?
Yeah, I'll start.
No, good.
All right, thank you for coming. The first thing I wanted to ask you about was the on page 2 of the bill that you're sponsoring is 316-20655, electric bicycle regulations. 10B, it says a person operating an electric bicycle on a sidewalk or any other area designated for pedestrian use may not operate an electric bicycle at a speed greater than 10 miles per hour, or when a pedestrian is within 50 feet of the electric bicycle. How do you expect to enforce that? And my issue is, if you look at 316-1995, it already says only human-powered vehicles are allowed on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a contradiction, as I mentioned earlier, that, we're trying to, clear some things up. And so that feedback, I think, is noted. we'll definitely take that back and see if we can, amend the bill to be more clear. But I think the intent here is to make sure that, you know, if you're operating a bicycle on a sidewalk, that you're not creating a safety hazard, right? I think we all can all agree it's a shared space with people walking, with kids, sometimes baby strollers, right? And so we want to make sure if you're operating a bicycle on a sidewalk that you're within a speed where you can make sure you're not creating any safety hazard.
I
And
don't
so
think
that's the intent there.
I don't think the issue is with bicycles, it's with e-bikes that are motor powered. And I don't know how you're gonna observe somebody going more than 10 miles per hour on a bicycle, on an e-bike. I just don't understand why you don't stick with the original document that says human powered bicycles only, or human powered vehicles only on sidewalks.
Noted. Noted.
I think there was another addition that said that, if you were gonna go ahead and change the regulator on the bike, you can get fined.
Right.
I don't know how, they would figure that one out. I can tell you, I've seen a lot of e-bikes in town, and I bet you via YouTube, everyone has broken that regulator. So they go faster than me. So
Yeah.
I just don't, that's very much a concern because, the speed on the sidewalk, whatever, it's very risky. I do know there are people who rely on the e-bikes for transportation. To transportation, people go to work, they go around town, maybe can't afford a car. But really, this is just about the recklessness of people are not respecting each other. And I guess I agree with Jack. It's got to be something that's very hard to do. Otherwise, once that gray area is there, people will just take advantage of
Well,
it.
to Jack's point, I mean, I know what a non-electric bike pedal power means, right? And when I ride in Claremont on my bike, you can't ride an electric motorcycle, a motorized scooter, an e-bike, whatever the 5 different classifications are. So, I guess in the bill, Mr. Spencer, what is the definition changes for these things? Does it apply to roads and or sidewalks and or paths or trails? And which classes require a learner's permit for, I mean, there's
Yeah.
a billion questions that we have because we're adding a level of complexity that might be unnecessary. When I ride in Claremont, you just don't have electric bicycle on there and the paths work just fine. Keep it simple that way. Kind of easy to understand and differentiate. If we don't, we add 50 different classifications and I don't know how you would even figure it out. For all these reasons. So seems to be we're overcomplicating the issue and it's going to sit here forever because there's 50 ways to classify these things.
Yeah, I think, part of what we've heard is input from a number of different folks with regard to, these different classes of e-bikes because, they service, in a lot of instances, different types of customers, right? And so as a result of that, that's where we kind of, started to land on some of these different classifications. When we talk about, keeping it simple, I think you've got a point. I think that's some conversations that we can have, with the bill sponsors relative to how do we simplify that. But I think the intent here was really to, create classifications for the different, types of customers that would need e-bikes either for, transportation to, school, to work, or, for children, and things of that nature. So I've taken that as a note to have some more detailed conversations around how we can, potentially simplify that. But at the end of the day, we're trying to create legislation that's going to be flexible enough, right, to apply to different communities and different groups of folks across the state while also creating a framework where we can, hopefully limit some of the safety issues that we're currently seeing.
So the sheriff talked about ordinances. Does this preempt ordinances that either a city and or HOA and or CDD in our case, does that preempt what we can do individually?
Yeah, I mean, there is some language in there around preemption that I'm working with the bill sponsor on today. Because from my perspective, as I mentioned earlier, I want to try to create legislation that's going to give you the flexibility to be able to do what you need to do for celebration. I'm having to negotiate again with the bill sponsor to see if we can make sure that any preemptive language is removed.
Anybody else have any questions? Well, I know, again, we do appreciate you attending this meeting because one of the first to actually have engaged in, so we do appreciate it very much.
You know, um, my intent, is as when I came to visit you all, is to try to again be your voice here in Tallahassee. So when we have legislation like this that comes up, we're able to get input, and try to drive a solution that's going to make sense for you, right? That's why you sent me here. That's, my job, as your representative. And so whenever we have things that are going to impact your community, I want to be your bridge, to make sure you have a voice at the table.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate the feedback.
Okay, we are now moving the agenda around, which we talked about earlier, moving 7A. Consideration of pond bank restoration RFP.
Yeah, representatives from stormwater management and institute forum here. You have a preference on who goes first?
Alphabetical. Do
Yeah,
you guys have a preference? Anybody want to stand up and take the first shot?
Yeah, so if you go alphabetical, it's exact.
I don't use that people.
Yeah.
Just
Do you want Ryan to step out while he speaks, or is it okay if he stays in there?
Yeah, it's really up to you both, whether you want to stay and listen or whether you want to step out for each.
I'll be happy to step out. That's not a problem. Fine, if you stay in here too. Either way.
I'll excuse myself for a moment.
Hey, floor is all yours.
Good evening. I'm Austin, with Exact Stormwater Management. We're a stormwater management company, obviously. We operate primarily in the southeast, including Florida. Been operating for over 10 years. And our primary focus is on stormwater construction, new developments, and then post-construction inspections, maintenance, and rehabilitation. So we're pretty familiar with the type of work that this pond restoration entails. We've crews that specialize in dredging, doing erosion control, installations, slope stabilization. So this work is familiar to our teams. That being said, we did provide 3 different options. One was to regrade the banks, get those to compaction, and install sod. Sod would be anchored, installed as it should be, per FDOT standards. Second option is regrading of the banks, and installation of a coconut fiber mat. We would staple anchor those mats to the banks and then install sod over top. And then the third option is installing a synthetic product called Armor Max or an equivalent. That is anchored on the toe of the slope and up the bank. And we install sod over top of that.
You priced all 3 options, looks like, correct? Given your background and expertise, is there one of the 3 options that you think makes the most sense for us?
We think that most of the ponds can be fixed using the good and the better options, so just the sod and the coconut fiber mat. That being said, there may be some areas that would require, and it's kind of up to the district and maybe some input from Mark, on, if it's necessary to include, that Armor Max the synthetic, turf reinforcement. But we're open to an option that incorporates, sod in some areas where, it's less prone to erosion, where maybe the slope isn't as steep. And then for areas more prone, we would install the coconut fiber mat. And then if there's a history or, severe erosion, including that, Armor Max turf reinforcement mat.
Out of curiosity, what, the original ponds had what, just sod, or did they have any of the mesh? Sod.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
no.
think anybody in the original ponds had mesh.
So we made 30 some odd years.
Correct.
With just sod.
I thought there was something, no? You're positive?
Yeah, the only areas that I see that had something, I think of when the golf course repaired some of their ponds.
And read.
They added their stones and stuff like that, but that's the only thing that I've seen.
Russ, was there any of the Curlex used anywhere, you know, that?
Island Village has the roll sod and it's got the. Call it, you know, what is it?
Yeah, it's like fishing.
Fishing
line.
thing. Other than that, everything is.
It's just so it can come on a big roll on a truck and then
Oh,
roll
yeah.
it out. It's not really.
So they can harvest it faster is the reason that Curlex is in there.
Under your good and better options, the better option was showing a composite reinforcement mat that lasts for 2 to 3 years, more than functional life. And yet under the good option, you have a PPS erosion control mat, same length of time, 2 to 3 years. What's the difference between the two? Why should I go with the better versus the good?
Yeah, they didn't bid the PPS.
Oh, they didn't?
No. They did the Armor Max, they did the Coco mat, and the option with no type of mat.
Well, I see. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, and in my response to Carrie's question, regarding the lifespan, I think that it's super important to, include the preventative maintenance plan. Just even if it's an annual, inspection of the ponds to identify any, problem areas that are eroding, or, sloughing off. Or even if the landscape maintenance team has weed eated areas and there's exposed soil, and you can go.
So would this be under warranty or anything?
There would be a warranty for the work that we do, yes.
For how many years?
50.
I'm not sure.
I mean, like the installation of the composite
It's in the contract, right?
I think it was a year with.
Isn't there a warranty period in the contract?
So they were 1 year.
Mhm.
About kind of same.
Yeah, product, the Armor Max, like, well, Armor Max 75. It's functional life was 75 years.
Okay,
That's correct.
Even though the cocoa fiber mat, that will biodegrade in a couple of years, but then you've got sod that's now established over that same period.
Oh, I see what you're saying, okay.
I also, you guys are out of where? Jacksonville? Is it right? Okay, and that's the closest office. So are you be mobilizing from Jacksonville down to here?
Yeah, we have crews that,
Services area?
yeah. We work up throughout Florida.
You saw your annual sales, what's the biggest project you've done relative to this scope?
I think I would have to talk to our operations team. I'm not sure exactly.
So if you don't know, it can be very big.
I would say just under $1 million.
Of a total scope of a similar project of pond resurface or rebanking, whatever we want to call it.
I can get that answer for y'all though.
Yeah, we could use to know.
Now you understand this could be a multi-year project. We can't afford to do $12 million
In 1 year, yeah.
So this be spread over a couple of years. Will there be any price increases as a result for increased cost of materials over time?
No, at this moment, we don't anticipate any increase in price.
Well, we would,
As it being a multi-year.
We'd have to be sure that either there isn't or it's documented.
It's just
Yeah, we
no
put it
escalator.
on-
Yeah, yeah, if there's a product increase, there ought to be an escalation that would be built in up to a certain percentage.
Well, tied to some.
Yeah.
Something.
Anything else?
okay, well, how long does it take to do one pond, for example?
I'd say like a week or two.
You have the same person listed for PM and whatever the other title was. So what's how much are you self-performing the scope, I guess is the question, with W-2 labor?
It would be all in-house.
Okay, so you're.
Yeah, and I think you're referring to Ramiro and
Yeah.
Roberto.
Same.
They're brothers.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it. I didn't know if it was a typo.
Um,
You want to ask Ryan to join us?
right, so I guess we ask him to leave the room.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. Thanks.
If I can talk about it, they had a technical rep that was supposed to be here today.
Okay.
We dealt with him online, did a very good job. His wife got in a pretty severe car accident.
Okay.
He cannot make it. Ryan is the backup supplement.
Hey, everyone.
Or less.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thanks for having us. I think Carrie was just saying this, but just in case not, I'm Ryan Graham. I'm the regional manager for the operations for the Central Florida Division of Central Form Technologies. Tony Bosco, our operations manager for the civil side, which all the storm work falls under. You spoke to him actually at a previous board meeting. He's one that gave you some of his experience and some of the expertise he has on the matter. Fortunately, it was an accident. He may be able to jump on. We're not quite sure yet. He had to turn around en route to go be with his wife. Everybody's okay. But that's why he's not here with us this evening. So my apologies on that. Real quickly, I'd like to just give you a brief intro just to the company overall, our kind of overall approach to some projects. And then I can give you some project specific information and then answer whatever questions that you would have to the best of my ability. First of all, as a local operation to Central Florida, we take great pride in being able to provide solutions when it comes to either handling, storage, or moving water. That's what we do as a company throughout all phases of water's life cycle, essentially. So that's what we like to provide to the clients and the neighborhoods and communities in our area. And we are local with an office in Lakeland. We have offices in Tampa and also Spring Hill. That's where we operate from. We will be here within, a day's notice if ever there's any sort of issue. That's the type of span we have. That's why we have offices set up throughout the state and throughout the country to be able to provide quick response times on things like that in case it's needed. And we have multiple resources at our disposal in that area. Tony, who, as I said, can't be here tonight, he's our operations manager on this side. He's been doing this type of work and other civil construction type work since 1987. He's done brand new pond for retention builds. He's done restoration. He's done grading of swells and ditches, all using soil stabilization and different erosion control techniques and products along the way. And he's been in charge of that ever since. So he's our SME on that, our matter expert. And he's the one that's going to be the driving force behind all of the work that's being done. Along with the ability that we have being local, we intend to perform all of the work in-house. So with those same resources that will be close by, we also have multiple subcontractors, if it were ever necessary, to speed the work up for any reason. Say we thought there was going to be significant more bad weather coming, we need to get work done. We have significant amount of subcontractors in the area that do the same type of work that we have a relationship with that we can bring in to assist, not to take over, but to assist if needed. The big thing for us no matter what type of work it is, especially when we come into a community like Celebration, is safety. First, it's the safety of our people, but then in turn, the safety of the residents and those around us. That's the number one thing our company focuses on. A lot of people preach that on paper and don't take it seriously. I found out that we take it seriously when our COO, whether he is in a meeting with managerial staff or with guys in the field, he walks up and his first question every time is, who owns safety? And if you don't say I do, as we all have that responsibility, then you're probably not going to be here very long.
Right.
So we take that very seriously, and that leads then into not just our safety, but the safety of those around us. So for this particular project, what that would mean is we know that I believe the roads and the right of way, or at least some of the right of way, is owned and operated by the county. Sidewalks, I believe, are owned and operated by Celebration. So what we would do, and we have extensive history of doing this. We do this for all of our projects, regardless of what type they are. We pull permits with Osceola. We pull permits with Polk. We pull permits with Orange County on a regular basis. We understand their policies. We understand their procedures, the timing, the protocols. We'll pull those permits through them to ensure of any of our staging area near the pond that we're keeping traffic and pedestrian safe. So that includes submitting to you guys our sidewalk diversion plans and depot plans to keep everybody safe throughout the life cycle of the project. And then a part of that also is not only actively monitoring, but presenting to you a housekeeping and staging plan to make sure that not only we think it's acceptable and will work for your community, but you think it's acceptable and will work for your community as well. You've seen our pricing for the different products. You've also seen that we based off of your ranking of the ponds and suggested phasing of the work. And with that, that's what we think would be the best way to approach it if you wanted to go that route. And along with that, we turned in a schedule just so to give everyone an idea. Say an award comes and you do give it to us, we're ready and able to mobilize mid to late February to get started to try to knock whatever first phase of this work before the rainy season hits and get that completed. And we show with punch list and close out everything that first phase going into like early to mid summer just to close it out, finish it up.
If I remember correctly, was that an 8-week time frame? Do you know off the top of your head?
You talking about to get started?
No, for that, yeah, my question was, I think I picked up on an 8-week schedule and I wasn't sure if that was for phase 1 or phase 1 and 2 or.
No, I think phase 1. So I think it was inclusive of up to 3 to 5 ponds, depending on what funding or things could possibly be, or ponds, excuse me.
Okay.
I think it was starting late February, going through the end of May, essentially early June. That would be to do, I believe it was the first 5 ponds. So if it were just 3, then obviously I think each pond has 3 to 4 weeks on there with some lead time and cushion for weather events, different things like that.
Your pricing per unit reflects that the whole scope is done within a particular period of time? Or what if we said, hey, we want to bite this off in 4 years and we want to take this, what does that do to unit pricing?
I think the unit pricing would remain the same with the exception of major increases in material cost. We would want to revisit that down the road if there was a major spike in material costs for that, but labor and all that, that's going to remain the same. So it would be pretty much unchanged. And if we had to come to you with that, then obviously we have the backup documentation for that.
You're okay with the contract having no escalation cost other than a material cost that you could prove tied to some objective metric?
Correct. The only thing I would say other than that is when I doubt I've only seen it once in my career, but when COVID hit and then we had force majeure that caused other stuff besides materials, but crazy acts of God. Other than that, yes, materials and materials alone.
You appreciate that.
Question for you.
Yes, sir.
You have a better and a good option. Okay. Your better option was at 7,940,000. And that is for 10 years warranty and functional life. And then your good option was for 7,999,000 for 2 to 3 years of life. It's $59,000 more for the good option versus a better option.
You're saying the product warranty, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that you were to charge $59,000 more for a lesser option.
Yeah, like I said, I think the only reason for that price there was the cost of the material to us. It's the difference on that one. And that's why we priced it the way that we did.
I think better. It makes sense.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I'll ask the same thing I did before, which is if for your professional opinion and your background, we gave three options of good, better, and best. Do you have an opinion on how those are
Yeah,
wise?
We do, I think, and one thing I was gonna say, I think that we would definitely be open to having a discussion. I don't think that there's one option that is a necessity across all areas of installation. I think that that'd be a conversation that we would want to have her there and say, you know, listen, this one makes more sense on this pond, and maybe depending on the level of red areas on one, maybe it's makes more sense to continue on with the same product a little more to each side because of what could possibly happen in the future there. But I think that the different ponds definitely have the ability to be done with different products.
That was kind of my comment about some value engineering. Once you select a contractor and we get in the field, be some negotiation.
50 unit. Price is gonna go to 225 and your budget just went out the window, so that's great, you know, because we can engineer it or value engineer it, it's going up, not down. So, it's gonna be kind of hard. I get the complexity of it.
I guess what are the unknowns there is,
Yeah,
I mean, they would be the same unknowns for either vendor, so what? I'm trying to figure out what unknowns are out there now that we would need to get in and have them into either to.
They would have to take it off and go, if you want to value engineer and not just pick one, you're gonna have to go and engineer the scopes and in advance of your phasing, you'd have to go for phase one. I looked at these five. There's a combination good, better, best.
Right.
Is what you just said. Here's the fixed price, and we'd have to take it off by that phase. How else you gonna do it?
Yeah, that's one of the questions that I had asked. And if you break it down, if you phase it out, if you change ponds to, your price will hold, and they said yes.
All right, Ryan, how many years have you guys been in business?
Well, specifically for the team that's going to be doing this, Tony's been owning business through this work since 1987. And Citrform has been in business since, I believe, the 50s or maybe like 60s. We have a very large footprint, you know, billion-dollar company. We have resources all over the place.
Did you say billion?
Yes.
You're a billion-dollar company? Publicly traded?
No, privately.
Billion-dollar company.
Got paid for it.
Okay. I gotta go research.
Shock. Tony joined. Do you want to ask him
Yeah.
questions?
Hey, Tony, hope everything's okay. Glad you can make it. If anyone has any questions for Tony, please feel free.
It looks like you're muted.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Yep, apologize. I'm late here. Wife was in a car accident and in a parking lot of a hospital right now.
Well, I hope she's doing okay.
Yeah, she's getting a scan done right now, so everything looks good. Just her head got shaken up a little bit.
Are you able to talk or do you need to break?
Yeah. Nope. I walked downstairs. I'm actually in the parking lot, so good to go.
Okay. Yeah, let us know if you need to leave. So
You got it.
Technical questions for Tony?
And unless there's something to highlight from the bid that you guys brought forth or any competitive advantages that you guys bring to the table.
I got you. Really just to let you know a little bit about my experience. I've been doing this type of work here since going on 39 years. Was general superintendent and operations manager for some of the largest site developers in the state of Florida. So pond work and road building and utilities is it's all I've done for 39 years. And a lot of DOT experience, a lot of work like this, rebuilding ponds, building ponds, stabilizing shorelines, so forth. So my background, I feel like we bring a lot to the table to give you guys a quality product.
I think Brian covered most of our questions up to this point.
Okay.
Good. Any other questions?
And I apologize for being late. My biggest one was what Shell was getting at is being able to zero in just because we're not going to be able to do this all in one fiscal year.
Right.
Is because the material piece is such a significant part of the cost. I hate to say I need to know now, but if I'm gonna make a decision, I need to know now how we're locking in a reasonable escalation. That it's not, and I appreciate a force majeure that, you know, if we get into a scenario like another academic, that reasonably that is different than, hey, inflation's just a thing or deflation's just a thing. I need to know over a multi-year time, just because we know we're gonna be at this for a couple of years. How are we locking that in? What have you guys done? I mean, do you tie it to a consumer cost index, or how do you?
Yeah, we usually use, I believe it's the CPI index. I'll make sure I get my acronym correct for you later, but we use indexes like that to do it. It's not just arbitrary on our part. It's the same thing with all aspects of our business. Like, so we do civil work, we do lighting, we do all kinds of things, and it's all increases like that that are material based always follow some sort of index in the back of documentation.
So you guys would be willing to do that on this one? How many years?
This is not a play to try to, and I know you don't think it is, but it's not a play to try to pad the pocket later. It's simply just to protect us.
On the flip side, there's a reality. Inflation's been wacky, and I don't want a vendor that's going underwater, because that just means it's gonna be bad on us, because you're not gonna want to do the work. I want to make sure that it's a fair
There's
relationship there.
Right. And we appreciate that.
And so I'm a manufacturer of all the materials that are probably gonna be used by some of these or a competitive product, but to speak to potential increases in material costs, typically for products like these, we can hold prices fairly well. The only thing that would potentially cause an issue would be the coconut, since imported fiber, tariffs would be the only thing that would cause an issue with that pricing. Now, we're actually at a higher tariff pricing now than we ever have been before. So it was put in the higher tariff price. I don't expect it to go up. I can only expect it to go down. As far as the higher end material, the synthetic material, that's all produced domestically.
Okay.
And it's tied to petroleum products. So it shouldn't change.
Less subject to tariff.
Let's actually done.
Mike, for the record, can you introduce yourself and the company you represent?
Yeah, so I'm Mike Johnson. I work for MKB. So we're the largest manufacturer of erosion and sediment control products in the United States. So we make anything from straw blankets all the way to the high performance turf reinforced matting.
And for the record, he said he was gonna go cheaper on the outdoors. That's what I heard too.
These guys might have that conversation outside that door.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I was gonna introduce you and ask you if they had questions for you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Would you like me to step out again?
Yeah, so how do you want to do this? Because we have to go ahead and review the analysis and proposal letters.
Yeah, I think Mark did a pretty good job of putting something together, so I think you should speak to it.
Close the door and all.
It's their option to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. A few minutes. Do we need to ask and again, I apologize for being late. Do we need to ask the first one that same question about walking into some sort of material person?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I asked them that when we opened the RFP, I explained, it's a multi-year project, are your prices holding? Institute Form has a project discount. See, if when we do 5 or 6 ponds, does that continue to apply? The response was yes.
So
Tell us what we think.
we got the two bids. I prepared a bid form that listed all the ponds and the linear footage for each pond and provided that Excel spreadsheet to the contractors to bid. Basically the long thing that you need the reading glasses to see. Both contractors built that out appropriately. So I took that information because it was kind of hard to cut it between all these pages.
Hold on a second. Do we, does it matter if Tony's still on the line or should we let him go?
We should let him go.
Let him go, she go be with his wife is what he said.
Yes.
I'm still here.
No, we're gonna let you go.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, son.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
So I took all the prices from the convoluted bid form, proposal form and summarized it on a little more simpler, good, better, and best. You put this, I believe this was in the agenda package. I ended up having 2 versions of this because initially Institute form kind of had the same unit prices for their better and best, and Carrie and I caught that and they went ahead and revised proposal with a higher unit price for the best option, which is the Armor Max. Both contractors were using the Armor Max for the best option. So you can kind of see at the bottom of the summaries, you can see, side by side exact institute for good, better and best. And then, and Carrie had kind of taken that information and put together this kind of a little more written summary. You guys mentioned the better and the good being backwards. Right. I actually did some quick math. I think there might have been a typo on that because good is about $300,000 less. Use the right number there. But on the bid forms, you had the pricing that each contractor provided, but the institute provided some supplemental spreadsheets. Those are these colored ones that you might have seen in the package where they kind of listed the phases. The first submittal they provided for kind of what they were calling for phase one. There were a few typos in there on rankings, and I highlighted those in pink, as well as some linear footages that were different. So I kind of put this together so it kind of had apples to apples with exact. They initially provided a 15% discount across the board. I think Carrie decided we're going to stick with that.
That was their bid price. You can't change that. That's what got submitted.
Was the revised one that had the higher unit price for the Armor Max, they changed to 10%, which is against them. The rest was, higher as far as getting the exact 10% and 7.5% on the.
Do they understand that we're evaluating them? I just want to make sure we don't make a selection.
Yes.
Back and say, hey, we're out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That does get a little confusing because you've got all these options. Would have been nice just to put whatever price they wanted to go with in the form so you could just compare side by side, which is what this does. Carrie's kind of puts in the discounts there. Did you apply the 15 on the best as far as the discount?
Yes.
Okay with that?
So how is this gonna be contracted?
Actually, seven.
Like a maximum price basis, per pond basis or per unit price basis? Because
It's gotta be the common denominator. I would think it's gonna be linear feet.
Yeah, I think the
The
linear.
problem is they're gonna get in there. Different applications of the unit pricing, he's absolutely correct. That was the smart thing to say. But what we need to do is band them together in phases and only contract for phases with the not to exceed on the global project for a long-term duration.
Yes.
Don't, because you're gonna mess this up if we do it the other way. 100%.
I think you gotta have the whole thing. But you face
No,
no.
You don't think so?
well, yeah, we're locking in unit prices in a 3-year escalation and force majeure clause,
Right.
all that's wonderful. But we're gonna get it down and only contract on the first phase, which is, let's say, 5 ponds, but then they're gonna have to go back and give us a hard number on what their suggestion is of good, better, best, and what combination serves those 5 lakes. Because if you don't, they can't contract over that. So until they do that, they have to be willing to come out and give us scope for what they anticipate for the first 5 days.
Isn't there did you break out a per pond cost?
But they didn't, I don't think they broke out good, better, and best in the options of laying it out.
Yeah, especially if we're gonna start.
Yeah.
Be piecemeal, we gotta do it that way. They gotta be willing to come back and do that.
Well, to get to the crux of this, when you compare it, there's really no comparison. There's one vendor that has across the board lower unit prices.
Obviously, yeah. So I mean, I think it's a non-issue, so. I mean, $1 billion company to a $13 million company, this would be the largest project they do.
It was interesting when we evaluated the pricing, the blue colored pond. That's the one that has timber enforcer on it. Their exact form was lower on doing that. And Mark and I couldn't figure out how you're gonna clear timber and modify your bank with a lower cost, so.
It's considerably less expensive.
Yeah, when you pull the blue color out of the bid, their price dropped quite a bit, because they jacked it up quite on that blue. They were pretty
I
high.
don't think we need to overthink the selection.
I don't disagree, but they need to commit if we go forward to that process. And if they don't commit to that process, we'll go back to.
then we won't know.
Carrie, what is
So
their
we
budget?
contract for the first 5 ponds,
Right.
and then contract that these are the dollar amounts for the others.
We're locking in the
And they
prices.
lock in for the future 3 years.
Unit price.
It's a unit, we're locking in the unit prices.
If I remember. right,
Hey, guys, we have many conversations. Too many, nobody can hear.
Okay, I was asking Carrie, what is our budget for this year for ponds?
I thought we earmarked 750.
I was gonna say, yeah,
It's either 600,000 or 700,000, yeah.
that would be phase one.
Okay, right. Well, I would move to select institute form.
Well, do we want to first bring them into ensure
Yeah.
Shell's,
Yes.
let's bring them back.
Yes, I
and
agree.
ask them if they're gonna,
If they're willing to do that, then we would move forward. If they're not willing to do that, we gotta figure something
go
else
back
out.
to.
Both of them or just the front?
I would say just the one that we're looking at.
Yeah, because
All right.
I think it's a moot point. Yeah.
Mark, you want? Yes.
The intermission for the audience where they get to get up and stretch and grab popcorn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go find out if it's $1 billion company.
Yeah, that's the $2 million.
That's a lot of stuff.
Well.
Just to make sure.
Okay, so Shell, I'm gonna let you ask this question because I think I want it to be.
So we
Exactly what works here.
certainly perceive you have more depth and understanding and price, and that's good. But in order for us to say move forward, we would want to take those first 5, let's say that we have $700,000 for this calendar fiscal year. If you're willing to lock us in on the unit prices and agree on the language on the bumps, whatever that would be, and keeping the labor stable and holding, and only material costs tied to tariffs if we're gonna go in that direction. And then come back and go, okay, for these 5 ponds, for these phases, we're gonna suggest doing good, better, and best. Here's the combo. Here's the bid. We then contract based upon that after you fully review your suggestion, because otherwise, how are we gonna get a number?
Yeah, that's fair.
Does that make sense? So if you're willing to do that, we'd sign the global contract, but then we piecemeal and sign the contracts for each phase.
And then, just so I understand, so we're clear on was it CPI or I know there's
Well,
also
we-
construction index law.
We can figure out some language.
We'll figure out which CPI index they're.
Yeah, because there's a million ways to do that.
Yeah, we'll submit all that and show you.
It's not unfair, but.
Yeah, well, listen, that's all we're asking, right? We want to, like I said at the beginning, we want to be a part of the solution for the communities that we're close to and in, and that we go through every day. We've done some other work in the area. Previously, we have a crew right now working on US 192, like 3 miles down the road. We just want it to be, obviously, us to get what we need to do as a company, but we want it to be fair to everybody. And then to provide a good product that's long-term solution at the end of the day. So whatever language we need to work out that's fair for everybody on that, we have no problem with that.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. We need a motion on the board.
How do you want to?
That's a very complicated motion.
And what he just said.
Yeah.
It's a motion to accept them as, I would call them, the prospective vendor or the contingent vendor. That's the right word.
Rank number 1, the number 1 ranked vendor.
Sounds better when you say it.
And accepting the prices per unit prices.
Contingent on the acceptance of the unit prices.
Over at least a 3-year
Over.
period. So we gotta be clear that I wanna lock in for at least 3 years.
Are you writing this down?
I would say 5.
Well, that's fine too.
5 years.
If they
I would like to
do
see. That doesn't mean we have to do it over 5 years, but.
No, but I think if you're gonna, I agree.
Because we don't know
I
what
agree.
the reserves are gonna look
But
like.
don't we have a standard length for our contracts? Let's just treat this like all the other contracts.
Well, the problem is
This
we
is
know
a-
what this is a defined scope.
Yeah.
So it's
I
not.
know,
like
Yeah, but
free.
I thought we already had a language for 3-year contracts with.
We don't. We
It
very-
varies depending on the bid. A lot of times the
As
2-year with
long as we can.
several renewals.
But contingent upon them coming back and phasing it based upon our $700,000 for the first 5 and recommendations that go better best.
Okay, we can create that.
Second.
Well, I thought you made it.
It was a co-motion.
Never mind. You can say.
I'll second it.
All right.
Good.
All
Question.
in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Calling all back,
Yeah.
Yes.
motion, make it official.
Gary, you want to announce the findings?
I can. So, based on conversation, the information that you provided, evaluation by staff and district engineer, the board has decided to award in situ form the contract for this project.
So again, thank you both. This is easy work. Yeah, there's a lot of work to go ahead and put this together. That's a lot more work. So, thank you both.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you all for the opportunity. We're obviously looking forward to it, and we're glad to be able to be here also with the company with the reputation that Exact has. Also, we appreciate their input to make this a competitive deal for everybody. And that, I'm going to excuse myself.
All right.
No, that's easy.
Yeah, but thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You as well.
Okay. Moving on to 6, staff reports.
Just one quick question out of
Please.
curiosity. All the audience members haven't spoken up yet. I thought you were just part of the RFP process.
No, I would think they're in
Is
oral
this
application.
for a later item?
Yes, it's in under business items. Well,
Well,
now if,
we don't want to bloviate.
but that was the motion to approve the agenda. We can, I'm just saying, that was, oh, you didn't know
I
that.
thought they were part of the RFP.
Do we want to continue with business items?
Like, it would be nice to move.
Absolutely. All right, so let's, well, the next one, be 7B, discussion of Lake Reinhardt concession activities.
Okay.
So we'll continue on that one, and then we'll be back to staff.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
No, that's fine.
I think that one moves over to us.
Yes,
That was what I had.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah,
next step.
they, to enter into a public-private partnership, which is what this is, the district would need to go through an RFP or some kind of proposal, since we're taking a public asset and offering someone the ability to make a profit from it. There's actually some statutory language about that. So I think the board, the first issue is, does the board want to consider a concession, an agreement with a private vendor to offer some sort of entertainment recreation on Lake Reinhardt? Are you content where you are with it? That is really the first.
I'm supportive of it. I'll speak on behalf of the applicant, say that I think this would be something to pursue and be good to the community.
Are there any conditions around what you discovered legally for us to be, is it the RFP process, or is there anything else we would need to consider in that?
We would have to advertise, make sure it's a qualifying project that meets the scope of what we want. So the board would have to come up with, are we looking just for boats in Lake Reinhardt? Are we looking for other entertainment, other options? Really come up with sort of an RFP. There is a way you can receive unsolicited proposals. But that's generally not for a recreational. So that's probably not the safest when you have a community that gets this involved. Our suggestion would be just for us to do a quick, this is what the process is, and have everybody give input on what you think would be appropriate, and then we could, advertise or bid or come up with a way of putting that out there, and then let that party, they may be the only ones that respond, there may be other.
Let's put it out competitively, so we can
Yes,
advertise. Would we need to do any sort of rule, because we don't do this anywhere else with any of our other infrastructure, would we also be wise to do a rule change or some sort of rule establishment around that, or does that matter? Just trying to think of anything else, because I know the question's gonna come out of, if I do it here, why don't I do it here? Why don't I do it there? And
Those are questions you'll be asked by the public.
For sure.
Luckily, it's kind of a one of a kind amenity, so hopefully you're not gonna get too much pressure to do other things, but you will have public input as to folks that don't want anything down there or that want different amenities, but it does give people the opportunity to give in.
So my question falls under insurance first. How does that impact our protection.
Angel was gonna look into whether our insurance policy would cover it, but that would be something we'd put in our proposal that they have to offer at least
Yeah.
whatever their policy. So that was the one comment we had.
Right, because the initial proposal, we saw the insurance, it was way too low.
Yeah.
For what possibly could happen, right?
Yeah, and I think Angel was gonna look into what our insurance company would recommend when we build into the.
That'd be part of the RFP process. So
Okay. Secondly, you know, would they be running it on the entire boardwalk or just a section of the boardwalk?
We can ask.
The boardwalk would, so essentially I would need, it's 210 linear feet. I was just looking at doing the far end.
Okay.
That way guests can still.
Okay. And the only other question I had was based on your proposal.
Yes, sir.
This is where I get a little nervous here.
Yeah.
One of it is that there would be payments to the CDD. Can we do that? Because that was in the proposal that it was like.
Municipalities charge for
rev share
using it.
Yeah, and I have to look a little more to see if we have to do a rule hearing since it's being charged.
That's like a usage fee or something.
Yeah, I mean, and that I'm not 100% clear on how we would do that,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
find
just
out
curious because I remember that in the proposal.
that they were gonna pay for the use. And certainly, I mean, a rental charge or something would be fair for any, damage to the pond, any maintenance we'd have down the road.
I assume like anything else, there would have to be some fair and reasonableness test to it, that we can't do it for $2, but I can't do it for $2 million.
You guys are well trained. You're
See?
you're
So
learning.
he's like, listen to it.
You're listening all these years.
I'm trying to figure out how do
we come up?
how do you
with-
quantify that?
And that's where we have to be a little flexible, I think, because
Yeah.
it's not like a concession at an airport where you say, okay, the average for a lease property is
Right.
so much per square
We
foot.
know there's other examples of this, both like with the Swan boats.
They're owned by the city in Orlando.
Right.
We looked at everyone we could possibly
Yeah.
think of.
I mean, the easiest thing we can look at, we've got discrete costs for pond maintenance that we can break that out to.
Exactly, I
Yeah.
say that this would be a minimum, and then you look at, and if
Allocation, some
there,
staff time.
and, and then we look to see if people who've seen history, there may not be many people that want to enter into something. like this.
Well, was that not part of the original?
The original one was just an agreement.
There was no money exchanged?
Don't believe so. I think it was seen as an amenity by TCC.
All right, well, I mean, in the interest of time also, I don't want us to go through like the
The
30
details.
tables.
Yeah.
It's just, those are the only questions I had. Do you have any questions, Jim? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Right, the other questions last meeting were if someone was approaching the fountain or going out the area that we're mentioning, they are remote controlled, so they can be stopped and then notified on the two-way radio. You've passed that area that you're allocated on. Obviously the staff is going to be trained and they'll inform and show them the area that they can, but if anyone were to go beyond that, whatever buffer zone I had proposed 10 feet buffer from the fountain, then they can remotely stop the vessel and then radio go, you'd have to turn around, you're going outside the area. And that way the vessel will come back.
So do we have to,
So we have to publish at least 21 days.
Okay.
And it has to be a newspaper. We're supposed to also do the Florida Administrative Register, but we're trying to figure out how to avoid that.
What else do you need to construct and not just you, but
It's,
collectively?
it's an unsolicited proposal, so we could ask for similar proposals unless you want to leave it more open-ended for other recreational amenities, or you want it to be for boats for boat use.
Lions in the streets or circuses.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, swimming lions would be. It's
Swimming
swimming
lions.
lions. So you want to look for.
Sharks
are laser-
Are they laser pointers attached to their heads?
Pretty much limited to boating.
I would prefer to keep it as a more definitized scope as opposed to just an open, hey, this is here for a recreational thing, tell us what you think.
So boating rentals in Lake Reinhardt.
That's it.
yes. Because otherwise people are going to do
Just
these
things.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my next thing.
Yeah.
So.
Do you want to limit it to the record?
I was
Yeah.
gonna ask a question
Yeah.
about equipment specs, electric motor, not to exceed this many horsepower.
So yeah, state regulations 10 horsepower. These are actually less than 1 horsepower, 600 watts. So it's 4 to 5 miles per hour.
How are you gonna charge them up?
The electric is currently working on that. I did check it and they are on. So there's outlets right there.
electric powered boat.
Right by the water. It's not what they should like. Or
Blind squirrel.
I'll let Mark correct me, but I believe you can't have any gas powered boat on a district pond.
No, that'll take a long time ago.
Just a question for the board, do we want to ask staff just to take the next 30 days to come up with whatever they think right looks like and bring that back to us so we can all sanity check that, or?
We want to get this out just
Yeah,
because he's waiting.
Like
We'll have to- We'll draft up something for an ad and run it by all you and we'll gather the information. And if we have an issue, then we'll have to wait till next meeting, but I don't think it should be too controversial. Is that?
Well,
I'm fine with
Just
that.
last words.
I don't know what variables are gonna go into it as you guys.
We're
dig into
trying to
these.
keep it as
Simple
limited
as possible.
as
Yeah.
possible.
Yes, I agree.
We need a vote.
Vote, do we have a vote to get,
To
to have Jam look into this?
put together,
Well,
put
just-
together the ads for a proposal and of course, it's section 255.065.
Do we need a motion for that?
Gonna do the work for free.
No, just go ahead and do that then.
Okay, and I will circulate to everybody, and I say if we have a problem, I'll hold off to the next meeting, but I think I can incorporate all your.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for Alex pertaining to anything before?
I don't think so. I think there might be some more as we get a few little details, but I think a lot of it will be answered. It's pretty straightforward.
Jack wants his own boat.
I was gonna say, we gotta name the boats. And I've got 5 names. Five names for you.
Yeah, but it's all.
It's racing the SS Jack today.
That's right.
See the mast arm with you guys.
I want a 2 horsepower boat.
Oh, there you go. You're gonna get me in trouble now.
I don't know about anybody.
Oh, geez. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So moving on to 7C, ratification of the CDD goals.
This is an, this is an easy one. This is, as you know, we had a statutory change where all special districts have to have goals, and this is ratifying last year's goal. Make sure the board saw them. The goals were set up to be compliant with required statutes.
I'd make a motion to approve with a comment.
Which is.
What's the comment?
Oh, I thought we needed a motion first. I would, and I appreciate this is this is a legal check the block exercise that
Yes.
we need to do.
Yes.
I would like to, whether it's through this mechanism or separated from it, it's tied into this. We have not, as a board, since I've been here, really had a strategic goals conversation for the board. I mean, we've been since I've been on a reactive mode of when Jack and I first got on of, hey, let's just make sure the budget isn't, getting drained from reserves to keep the lights on. We're now at a point where I think we've positioned the board to be able to do a little bit more forward thinking as opposed to reacting. So whether it's through this mechanism next year or something separate, I would like to see us do that over the next 12 months.
I would actually like to see it something separate because this is like
Yes.
illegal to the state.
That's why.
I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah,
But I agree with you having a strategic session.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, and I mentioned in the meeting, we do it strategically in a budget meeting.
Mhm.
It's like the worst time you can do a strategy meeting when you're in the budget meeting because you're trying to complete the budget.
Yep.
And you're only looking for the next 12 months. So it's
And
not,
I think it also would help new board members coming in, and boards are gonna change things, right? That's their discretion to do that, but at least they can see and understand why we were on the paths that we were based on some documentation and not just say they wanted to spend money on a thing today, so.
Doing an annual strategic planning retreat and, a workshop, whatever you wish to call it.
it'll be a retreat in this room. That's really what it'll be. Just so you know, there's no.
Better.
trustees of you have had a sunshine violation for using a retreat for their plan. Just last.
Workshop in this very fun room.
What Shell meant to say.
Yeah.
All right, so Greg, do you want to make that motion again?
Yes.
I'm going to accept
Yeah.
the fiscal 25, and then we will have the same ones for fiscal 26. And that's why.
So, of note though, just so I could understand, this is an annual requirement.
Yes,
Okay, it has to be posted on the website.
yes.
By what date?
I think it was already posted by
Yeah, it's already
November,
posted.
December 1st.
Yeah, December 1st.
Yeah.
So that's why we're running.
This was a little bit late, so that's obviously, let's just make sure we get in the agenda.
Yeah, can
so
we
everybody can see it.
Somebody put it in their calendar, make sure we do this again before December.
Like in November.
you have a target date for your strategic planning session?
Let's discuss that.
Well, if we're gonna decouple them, then let's decouple.
Yeah, we get, when we get to.
This is an administrative.
Yes.
I think Angel already said she was gonna calendar it, but let's get a calendar for November. the
It
November
is,
meeting.
it's on everybody's calendar, Melissa Williams. So we will bring it before the board. It's calendar to bring before the board at the September meeting. And then we would post it by December 1.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Melissa.
That was Angel.
Oh, sorry, Angel, you were quiet.
It's okay.
You don't have a name on
Yeah,
there.
she's ghosting us.
Yeah,
This.
okay.
Okay. So motion to approve, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next one. D, ratification of resolution 2026-06, treasurer, assistant treasurer.
Move to approve it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, E, consideration of memorial application agreement, James Dowd. Do we have that?
It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Okay.
Do we need anybody to speak about it or?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Okay.
Is anybody here that wants to speak about it? Yeah, let me just quickly.
Yeah, I believe that's a replacement bench. He had had a bench before and he just wants to. It has weathered and aged and he wants to put a new in there.
Yeah, replace the existing bench.
Yeah.
And this is consistent with the policy that we set up a year or so ago.
Is it 918 West Park Drive?
I mean, we just redid all of our benches.
That's putting the plaque on the bench then.
Yeah.
Okay. We're in the business of memorializing
I
stuff.
say we did all, of them, waiting on wood for two of them. I don't know that that's one of them, but we'll check it out.
Yeah.
It's historically been done.
It's his.
It is now.
Right.
If you want.
Well, I mean, we just adopted the policy in the past year or so. That's what I'm saying, that this is the first time we've had to vote on something.
I move to approve it.
Second. All right. Any discussion?
My only other comment would be, my suggestion would be if any of these come up and they're consistent with the policy, do they need to even come before us or?
We might want to look at wording. I guess.
I think we'd like to see it. Just,
Okay.
I mean, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I agree with it.
I mean, I would give the discretion to staff, kind of like we do with the event application, say they're gonna know if somebody comes up and wants to do a thing for.
That's part of our strategic session.
There you go.
To streamline some of these things.
There you go.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? F, consideration of memorial application agreement, Adam Williams. That's right. Come on up, you waited so long.
Thank you, guys. So I'm Kim Pot, and I'm also here with Kevin and Allison, and they are Adam LaWoo's best friends. And they've been very involved with the town. There's been a lot of people that have been showing up at Adam's house at 748 Centerville. And they're the ones that have been wonderfully collecting the things, making sure everything's nice and clean and everything. So our request is that a lot of his followers, if you hadn't had the opportunity, Adam is really one of the OGs of YouTube. And he had over 1 million followers. And I would just like to share that I think he probably had as much of an impact on people wanting to come visit Celebration, like right behind Walt Disney's, what they've been doing. And so Kevin and I think some others actually had gone to look at some of the benches, and we do have a request. If maybe Kevin, would you mind pointing these out? He took some pictures. There are some areas that Adam would film quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, wait a minute. Thank you guys. Adam had some catchphrases, and so the idea of the bench would probably be something of in loving memory of Celebrations. Adam Rue, join me, shall you? That was something that Adam would say in his videos. And it was wonderful. Mike Nunez knows that Adam is really the one that was encouraging that clock that was over by the Thai restaurant that was never operating,
Yes.
time. Once it did operate, Adam made a big deal about the clock works, and he would stand there for a couple minutes and show how that hand on the clock would work. So I think that's our first request, if it's possible to put the plaque.
Yeah, there's the one bench. You get a great view of down Main Street, and you can see the clock to the right. So Yeah, the metal bench. I thought that was the best option. So there's a picture of the bench and then the next photo is of the view of the bench.
Are those are our, how would we? do
Yeah,
that?
that's where that's where.
That's all right.
How would we know?
How we would attach anything to that.
Any attention on the metal bench?
Yeah.
If it can't be the metal bench, we also have a wooden bench on.
Yeah, there's also another wooden bench.
The wooden bench we can do, we've done a couple of them already.
Would you be able to drill through the bench and then just bolt it in? The little,
On the wooden one?
well, on the metal one, the flat.
Don't know if we want to do that.
So, like,
Probably been rust.
Yeah, so, you know, one of the disadvantages is I know we had talked about wooden benches and metal benches. I think the problem is that we haven't investigated the metal benches and how to apply plaques on there. The wooden ones are very easy to do. And so, and I'm sure, is there a timeline you're looking at this?
I think because there's a following, we're just asking maybe if we can kind of get an idea of how long it would take, because we do believe people are going to travel to Celebration to actually see what.
Yeah, I understand. Well, the easiest one is the wooden bench. Right. That's the easiest one. The problem with the metal bench is that even if we put something in there, it might fall off. If it's not, you know, and we don't want to damage the actual.
No, just like metals are always gonna end up rusting.
Yeah,
Also, these powder too, these metal benches.
yeah.
Somewhat powder coated, but they're painted, but we don't want to put anything on there.
And this other one is
You
near,
got holes.
this one is near Starbucks, like on
Yeah.
near the pavilion side.
Yeah, so if people get their coffee, there's a trash can right next to it, so they can just drop the coffee cup off.
Okay.
Adam was known for looking for hot piping. That was one of his phrases. So being over by Starbucks.
They love the lakes.
And he loved-
That's a good spot.
And what was the word? If you could just decipher what the wording is supposed to be on the plaque.
I think we're thinking in loving memory of celebrations, Adam LaWoo. Join me, shall you?
Should be able to fit. Where is this?
15 characters.
I don't see it on the application.
I think we wanted to get with the family.
Yeah, we talked
We-
about
But
those.
we wanted to make sure we were on the agenda first.
There's only so much room, right? If I remember.
I mean, there's 3 lines and 15.
3 lines of 15 characters.
15 here. Okay, well, there you go.
So that's the,
We purchased the plaque, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, even Adam Lou Williams has too many characters.
We've done it both ways.
3 lines.
But you have a company that.
Oh, 15 characters.
Yeah.
Line?
Times 3 lines.
Like,
If they want to, they.
This one, it's 3 to 4 lines, but maybe a
3 lines, 15 characters per line. So that would be 45 characters.
So we really need to get that in the application.
Okay,
If you want something.
No, not just what you want to put in, but the specification of what can be put in. Like 3 lines, this many characters.
we say that. on-
Well, that's in the policy.
Yeah, it's a.
It's listed there.
Okay.
What you have here is Adam the Williams. If you want to give us something different now, then we
Yes.
can approve it.
Yes, would it be okay? I'm not sure how many characters this is. Can I just read it?
Yeah,
We can count.
I'm okay approving it if they want to get back with, I appreciate they want to get back with the
Well,
family.
the reason we're doing this is so we can, so that we're going from there first.
So
That's too. I.
Those are established and failed. Approving it within
Already-
45
that's
days.
great.
No,
You're talking about Rosemary?
they want to get
No,
back.
this one.
They can go back.
We're just
They can go back. to
in
that.
loving memory.
Okay, that's just it. As long as it's.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said
We got the dimensions.
3 lines, 15 characters. That was to be the.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Now we're on. All right, guys.
Where'd you go?
So, here, hold on.
Yes.
We could shorten it if you guys would like with the, Adam the Woo, hyphen join me, shall you? That should be less.
Okay, the 45 letters.
That's wonderful.
Do we have that in writing, or are you gonna?
Yeah, you
Jig chart.
want me to write?
Let's get it in writing, so it's spelled right.
Yes, because we'll
Yeah.
need to go ahead and.
I'm sure we can find a paper and,
Yeah, I'll write it.
there we go. Okay.
Great.
All right, so I have a motion to approve.
So the wooden one.
Yes,
Wooden bench.
second. All right, any discussion?
This bench.
Yes.
Good. We understand.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Right, yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Sorry for the delay.
Thank you for everything you guys do too as well.
Okay, consideration of memorial plaque for Gary Moyer.
Yeah, so when we did this last time, we had. Well, once we actually got into the wording and I got back and forth with Dory on the wording and it. For the original template we had was kind of the raised bronze lettering as opposed to this is like a laser etched lettering.
Right.
Carrie reminded me, it was almost double the, like one was about 2,500, one was like 1,200 or something like that. And because the board had approved for the raised lettering, which is the more expensive of the two, I wanted to bring it back if, hey, we wanted to go with this or we wanted to go. I prefer the raised lettering one. I think it's worth, if we're going to dedicate it.
All right, so there's two options.
Yeah.
That, what you see behind you is the cheaper of the two options.
All right, what's the other option?
What is the cheaper option made out?
They're both bronze plates. It's just one of them is impression that it's kind of a raised lettering as opposed to this one's like a laser etching. Yeah.
So you're talking about the one that, right?
Where's the raised lettering?
Where's the raised lettering one?
Included that. Carrie, do you have that? That was the one I socialized. That was what I showed last time where it's just the bronze itself and almost impressionist letters.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, so it's not black lettering, it's bronze.
It's double
Yeah.
the price.
Yeah, it was about.
I think she's looking for the raised lettering. I think they gave us options that weren't raised letterings in that email.
Okay, give me 30 seconds to see if I can pull it here.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't see the value
Yeah,
of
where-
spending double.
Where are we putting this?
Lettering.
Outside this.
This is gonna be outside the door.
Yeah, it's not an outside surface, so.
What's that?
No, it's not gonna be outside the building, it'll be outside, it'll be outside, so. Right.
Weathering is not a problem.
Was that?
Weathering, is that a problem? Yeah. We're gonna post it right outside this door. Oh.
Yeah, it's not gonna be outside.
We do have rain that comes in every once in a while.
My pen.
Unless we have to fix our roof.
No, I haven't raised.
This was the more expensive of the two. That was what I circulated around last time. I prefer that one better. I just need to know where.
It does, look more like an outdoor, that would be, but we're paying for this, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, this would be on the district to do this.
All right, so what are the costs for both?
Carrie will.
There was an email,
The 13 something?
1364
Or 20.
2653.
I have no idea.
I'm fiscally conservative.
I move that we do 1364.
Any discussion after that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Let's just get to make sure I got two.
It's the cheaper of the two.
They charge me. Stop
They had the same thing.
They already charged my credit card. I'm trying to get the charge off of it.
Oops.
All right, 7H, consideration of End Sunshine versus Celebrate CDD.
So that is a lawsuit. The accident actually occurred over 5 years ago. We had a settlement conference Martin Luther King Day, so last Monday. They started at the highest that they can sue the CDD for, and we settled for 25,000.
It's like a slip and fall.
It is a slip and fall.
Wait, let me get in on that.
Do we need to approve these every time?
Yes, that's what the
Yes.
board, but I think this discussion came up earlier.
Yeah,
we have to-
we had a conversation about, can we go up to the $50,000 minimum? And I don't.
Because are we ever gonna say no?
That's.
Yes.
It depends on what staff has a limited amount of what they can tell us or should tell us in the public.
Right.
Yeah,
I want to know.
If we have a case that has a real problem, and it's an actual lawsuit, we can have a closed litigation session.
Okay.
Strategy and such.
All right, so yeah, I'd like to know these. I'd like also know if you recommend a closed session to discuss.
With insurance defense, that's probably unlikely since most of these settle through mediation or.
Yeah, and there's
You
actually,
suffered for
there's a confidential agreement that we won't share what was
what's said
discussed.
in a mediation. Yeah, if it's mediation, we.
So is the recommendation for this to approve
To approve the
Yes.
25,000.
Let's get over with that. Okay.
Certainly.
So I have a motion. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, discussion of public safety security services budget.
Yeah, so Jack had reached out about what the balance is for the security services account. We spent about 100 grand, or we will after January.
Is that including cameras or is that just on deputies?
That is just the sheriff.
That's just the deputy. So it's 30 grand on top of that.
That's 60 grand for October.
Yes.
Yeah.
We eliminated November, December, and January, we eliminated 50 shifts. There were no days where there wasn't someone on, other than Martin Luther King, because we have to pay holiday pay, so we just took that one.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, Jack was asking about what do you want to do with the
There's the
money?
remainder of with budget.
I would prefer we move it into reserves. Okay.
That's why I was asking the questions of the sheriff again, because again, they're showing up. It looks great. It looks like we're doing something.
If we need it, we come out of
Did they
reserves.
say anything different from what they've been saying in the past?
No, they're
very strong.
It was very different.
Commitment. Jerry's coming back on duty and reassigned to the community.
But there's two people that'll be assigned to for communications and stuff.
I mean, do we need to? We were already voted last meeting to stop effective 1 February. So that, do we need to formally, administratively and accounting wise reallocate the reserves? Or I mean, anything else, we can play the overs and unders, we wait till the end of the year and we just take that and shift it over. Is there a reason we need to do that now tonight?
Question.
It doesn't really help us any. We're not gonna spend it. We are committed to that, so.
Yeah,
we should.
That's just going to sit there and not be used.
Well,
Well, and I think this goes back to strategy session on what we really
Board.
want to do. I really think it makes sense.
Tom,
Yes, go ahead.
I would, if you're not gonna use it, everything makes sense, but if you move it to reserves, you're getting interest on it. Because it's a separate account. But you can also do it at the end of the year. It's up to you guys. That's really the only difference of moving it now.
I mean, I would leave a little in there just because we don't know.
That was my fault.
So I would leave half of it in there and pull the other half in reserves.
Yeah,
So,
right.
because it's only a third of the way into the fiscal year. How do we know what's gonna happen?
Yeah, so
It may
months
show
may
up
go
for
by
some.
and you may decide like, hey, we do need one shift. So
I agree with you, fiscal responsibility, get it out of there if we're not gonna use it. But it's only a third of the way into the year. We don't know what they're gonna do, so. I'd make a motion to leave half of it, put it in reserve, and then hold on the rest. That's my.
Okay, I second your motion.
There we go.
and my comment to it would be.
Any discussion? Oh, yes.
Yes, sorry. Sorry. We did talk 2 years ago and had a separate offline meeting about trying to do cameras. And again, whether we decide to do that now or as part of the budgeting process through next year, whatever else, I'm fine. I mean, we don't need to rush into that now. But I do think there are other things that are security issues that aren't necessarily deputies. That, I mean, we've seen a lot of success with the license plate cameras to be able to do, as we talked about, high fidelity still, and that there's, we built out a huge plan, right? I mean, we can do pieces and parts to that, but I would like to see us still try to tackle that.
Like trying to budget.
I think some strategic planning, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to treat it like found money.
Correct.
We want to be allocated,
That's fine.
but someplace we don't spend it unless we have to.
I agree.
So all in favor?
well, your motion should be specific. We're gonna move 50% of the balance of that
So I
line
just-
item
That's what he said.
After February 1st.
after February.
Okay,
1st.
after February the first, right?
Yeah, because I'm not sure what that'll be, around 100 grand.
Okay, because it's not.
So whatever.
Whatever's remaining.
Yeah.
Once the details stop of the regular plan, yes.
So February first.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Are you second then?
I did say.
Well, we had a second again, but they, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, discussion on modifying Infomark contract.
Do you want to go back to your vendors who are still waiting?
Boy, gosh.
How did we skip that?
Yes.
Well, we had to, that was you. Yes, it was. You said we have other people waiting here and,
other people.
but it's in two sections.
See the
You see what I'm saying?
How are we not gonna blame them for whatever?
This is why we had a motion.
This was
All right, let's get.
this was supposed to be Valentine's Day.
Stay with
Yeah.
yours.
All right, let's go to field inspection report.
Anybody got any questions? You see the picture?
No, I didn't have any questions.
Thank you.
I do have questions.
Thank you, guys.
Simply, there's a lot of quick pictures there and I don't know what the pictures are there for.
You put the addresses on these things or what we're looking at?
It may say, scrolling down the page.
I mean, item 1, what's the problem? Item 2, what's the problem?
This necessarily isn't the problem. Actually, for phase 2, I'm just showing you, for some of you that may not have been down to Island Village yet, into phase 2A.
Where's my bike down?
It's kind of what it looks like, our landscape.
Russ, can you just put something like where it says phase 2A says, look at the neat picture?
Yeah.
You know, so we know what we're looking for.
Are there problems with the landscape?
We're looking to see if there's.
Okay.
Looks good.
I'm just making sure. Untrained
Now,
eye.
on, the only big thing is pay or picture, this thing keeps jumping around. There's one area we don't think we should maintain.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of stuff you've assigned to Matty.
Well, it's mainly because it hasn't been turned over to us yet.
I don't know what the
It's
problem
just
is.
pictures.
Yeah.
There's no problems at all outside of
Okay.
one picture, and I'm trying to. But that's
Item 13, look at item 13.
actually item 4. It's in front of the condos. Mark can probably describe it a little bit better than I can, but they have the property split in half.
Really?
Part Celebration and part Grow Up. And we've got bench pads and it's like going right between the benches and the pads and all that stuff. And I think from what I heard, Crow has now accepted to take that over.
At least the part closest to the condos or townhomes, it is one irrigation system they confirmed last week. As far as Proa taking both, that may require some discussion with Proa.
Yeah, so one system, can we please just?
Be consistent.
Yeah.
It needs to be consistent. This is what in North Village, for those townhomes, you got the split where it's CCD land on the other side of the sidewalk, and then it's Crow. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Has a conversation opened with Croa? I don't know what discussion they've had, so how do we poke this?
I don't think we've had.
Not with us, but I think Mattamy, when they did a walk, Proa accepted or initially accepted, I don't know if they formally accepted it at this point, but they were going to make that tract, and I'm sure Jeff mentioned, what about the other one? I don't think we got any sort of.
So Carrie, can you
Feedback
follow
on
up
that.
on this to find out?
Is it platted already?
So our plans right now is not to do any maintenance in front of the apartments. All the way out to the curb.
Yeah, I mean, listen, sometimes things in 2D don't work out great in 3D once it's done. So there's little cleanup that you have to do, and it's as simple as you deed it over to whoever needs it.
If they accept it.
It hasn't been deeded to anyone yet, it's still in all Mattamy's name.
Okay, so when we get the next turnover, then we either say, no, we won't take it. Okay.
But we should have the conversation now, knowing that
It's already in play.
it is platted as a split thing. We should be talking to Crow and saying who's taking what.
Yeah, I think Mattamy had those discussions with them. They meet with them as regular as week, they meet with us.
Okay.
And it was their attorney who called earlier when my phone rang.
Can you tell me about item 13?
Item 13.
We'll do a better job.
Oh.
A little narrative in there.
Oh, it's in the elm trees. I think the trees are dead.
They're not dead.
Is this the one where
They're scratching as green as table pot. Right.
Is this the one where the gentleman had emailed about a month ago, back and forth?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know you were talking about.
Yeah. Russ went out.
Yeah, in
and I
Spring
went
Lake.
out.
Well,
And we asked United to go out and we all gave them the same information, showed them the same thing.
you had made a comment though, and I can't remember if it was specific to this one or not, about, I thought there was a sign that was too close to a tree that.
There is a sign on that corner. There's
Okay.
one of the new crossing signs, one of those that tree right there is gonna have to come down. Branches are already touching it. You can see how immature that tree is.
Are we able to relocate this? I realize it's a county sign. Can we talk to them about relocating it 10 feet, 20 feet as opposed to killing the tree?
No, code requires them to put it there. I brought it up at our meeting. I asked them, when I sent them pictures, I included that and I said, we have an issue.
Mhm.
I asked them to, replacement cost for that tree. and there was no response, so.
Well, that was the response, I think.
My recommendation would be giving the spirited emails going back and forth for a while. If we're gonna go that route, which I'm fine with, let's just make sure the county is pulled into that email, that the county is saying, hey, that sign can't move and that sign's killing that tree, therefore the tree needs to go. I don't want to deflect, but let's,
It's just, we're gonna be trimming that tree forever. And you're gonna have this.
Yep.
I mean, it's,
Yeah, it's gonna be like a three-sided tree. It's like utility wires going to them and they just cut the arc out.
right, because he's gonna be upset the tree's leaving. It's like, what would you like us to
I
do?
just want to make sure he understands that the reason we're removing it, because I'm sure removing it is gonna make him even more upset than replacing it. That he knows that that's the county requirement for that sign being there.
Now, don't we have regular visits by an arborist? Isn't that something we agreed
We're
to?
doing quarterly.
Right. And we told him that the next quarterly visit, we'll have somebody go out there and look at it.
We
Look at
all.
what, the tree? I mean,
This isn't a,
Yeah, Joel's back there. I think he was happy with, he just doesn't like the tree.
Okay.
He doesn't like the shape and the form.
I mean, if he's not satisfied, we could always, listen, it's just a list of trees we give the arborist, right?
His commentary in the emails that I heard was, it was very clearly, the tree is dead, and you guys came back and said, the tree is not dead, it's budding, it's just not there yet.
It's a deciduous tree, so
Yeah.
it's dropping its leaves.
Yeah, and then the conversation was, well, I don't like that tree.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
okay.
Jack, you had some,
Russ, I got a question on that same picture. The tree to the left side,
I know the gutter.
right by the gutter, why is that even there? That's not even 5 feet. It's like 4 feet.
Well, but you can see it designed as you go down the
I
street.
know, but do we have more trees in that narrow an area?
Yes.
Yes.
Majority of those trees are elm trees. They're not gonna get too big over time.
Yeah, those aren't oak trees. Okay,
Thank God for smaller.
just saying, it's
So that's why they're.
horrible places.
Figured it out the first 30 years.
Anything else?
You're good?
My only other thing for field that I was gonna throw out there was that I did email Carrie about this. Back to the bridge going into Island Village, there are rust spots and developing rust spots all over there. So I don't know if Carrie conveyed that is already.
I thought you had it in your report, Russ. 'cause
It was
we talked
supposed to
about
be
it.
in there, I gave it to Jasmine.
Because they've already started working on that
Okay.
a little while ago.
Yeah, we actually met, well, when we met with Mattamy, there was, maybe you should have a conversation with Dave. He may have been with us when we did.
I may have suggested that to staff. Hey, I know.
Mattamy also did.
That'd be 300.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind, it wasn't me.
You mean this guy?
Well, because we were trying to figure out, okay, who's the contractor?
Who's
Because I went after Mattamy.
for this?
Said, you guys need to investigate this for us. Yeah, we'll do whatever we can. And they said, we can't find anything out. Maybe talk to Dave. And I kind of laughed because Greg had kind of made that suggestion.
Drive reverse.
That's like a major asset. They don't have any information. That's like the biggest asset in Island Village.
Yeah, we just asked him Thursday at the meeting and he said, I'll see what I can find for you.
And that entire thing is covered. I mean, the bolts, you can see there's already
Yes.
rust strips coming out, but the entire thing is covered either in a white oxidation or yellow. The best I talked to a painting guy was, and this was just a friend of mine, was he thinks that there's dirt getting up under the laminate or whatever the protective coating is, and that's getting caked in there.
There's an FDOT standard for painting overpasses. If you go on any highway, you can see underneath any overpass, there's either a green or blue paint. There's a whole DOT spec on how you do those type of things. So
If only the guy who was building it knew what that DOT spec was.
So as I remember,
it's over.
before they even put any of the iron together, they even thought about even bringing it here. It was, the bridge guy came in here and gave us a big speech about the paint, and I could swear he said it's gonna last a minimum of 10 years.
Was it not looking like that, I assume, when he came through?
One of the things I brought, and that's when Gary Maury was district manager, I said, that is gonna be one hell of a cost. The pressure washer, paint and all that. I mean, you're looking at probably a couple $100,000.
And that thing is covered as far as you can see. It's all over. the
Yeah, it's
bridge.
consistent.
Yeah.
So pressure washing will probably get rid of 98% of that stuff. There are some rust spots now, granted we could try touching that up.
You see that the white
I
oxidation.
don't think it's getting under the paint. I really don't.
I don't know. I'm not a painting guy.
We'd have to see how.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I'm seeing right now, we got sold a bill of goods.
But yes, Matt.
But that's
we
why
are
we're
working with
trying to
Matt
find
to
out.
try to find documentation, warranty, guarantee.
And it's not against bad, because the bridge warranty's up, but the paint.
But they had a contract with this
Yeah,
company, so
yeah.
they have to have something.
Yeah.
So we're trying to.
I would say the first response was, we weren't here when that happened, and I'm like,
Well,
They have
nobody
to-
was. We got
But your company was.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters.
And specs. And
Yeah.
contract minded and.
yeah.
And I hate to always throw Jan into the conversation, but if we need to put a legal marker down to say, hey, and I don't know, is there a warranty thing that hangs out there that even if it takes us 6 months or a year to get to a conclusion, that we've at least put a formal marker out, hey, we've identified it. I don't know if we're already outside of that window or not.
There's a one-year maintenance bond.
No, the bonds, I think, are multiple
Yeah.
lease. Yeah, the bonds.
Okay.
are leased. They're like.
So if we find nothing out, what would the board like us to do for the next step?
Yeah, make it look good. Yeah, it's a pressure wash.
We got budget coming up. I mean,
Well, pressure washing sounds real good, but when they did redid all the brickwork for electric, they got pricing for MOT on the roadside. I think it was $26,000 just for MOT. Yes.
For a lane closure.
I'll hold the flag. I think this is a budget conversation. We're right on budget season
Yeah.
anyway. I would put it as a multiple course, right? Hey, this is what it is for pressure washing. If you think it needs a recoating, resealing, put the options in there. I think that's a reserve item that we're gonna have to suck up.
I think we can pressure wash at least half of it with the lift we
But
have.
we need to shut down the road, one side of the road.
The other
that's the
side,
cost.
that's gonna be the big cost.
It's just doing its design.
You know, it's just there for looks. Why don't we just take it down?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I couldn't even go to that one. Okay, so anything else? Okay, so let's move on to vendor reports. United.
Hold on. You have any more questions for Russ? Can I?
Oh, go ahead. I didn't know you did. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was tracking from our original report on the boardwalk, there were repairs on it. Remember how we got that structural report back on the road?
Yeah.
Now, are they still ongoing? Or are they complete?
Anything that is above water level has been corrected. Anything below is not. No way established or just,
Well, we agree with it. No, that's fine. I was tracking that for December, so.
yeah, so what we knocked out,
Even the walkways or not just the wood, but you're talking concrete, everything.
yeah,
But had we established actions to take below the water level?
No.
Okay.
because we didn't, there's no budget for that.
Right.
So, he had marked stuff in his report, he had stuff that was like critical. That was taken care of in the first couple.
But I apologize, it's been a while. Were there things in his report that he had identified, well, even if we haven't budgeted for it yet, that were things that he realized below the water level needed to get done that we need to address in our next budget cycle, or he just didn't find anything below?
Yes, but there's nothing critical below that water.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
I'm gonna go over the walkways too, or, the concrete. Cause you're over budget or no?
Sidewalks or
Yeah,
what?
sidewalks. Sorry.
Oh, you're asking about the sidewalk.
Was that a separate agenda?
That's a separate.
All right, yeah, sorry. Then I
The
wanted.
sidewalk budget is a separate agenda.
Yes, right, that was.
That's coming up.
And on the last maintenance report in December, you had a pretty good explanation of the 411 Camellia Street tree dead branches. But I don't know if that's still an issue. In other words, are we gonna have a return of this individual come to say, I thought you said you're gonna take the limbs out of the tree?
No, so
We never did say that,
no.
nor do we per the board.
Yeah, we safety prone for clearance both sidewalks and roads. There is some dead branches in the canopy of that tree, but my understanding is the homeowner
There's
has always been responsible for.
60, 70, 80 trees
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, listen, I looked and
You're gonna get dead branches now.
That's the one I think.
Occasionally, if it's like a big branch, when Todd gets time, we'll send him over there with the lift.
Or if there's
We don't want
anyone that's
anyone
gonna
to get hurt,
fall.
but little branches, they're just gonna fall apart.
Right, yes. So if we deem something that's not a safety thing, we're not gonna do it. But it's not overhanging the lot. In other words, it's in the easement or it's over the right of way. Does the homeowner have the option to self-perform?
Yes.
They've always got
Yeah.
the option to trim the trees.
That's from a liability perspective.
They can always trim the trees.
We've had quite a
If
few
you go to
homeowners.
our side, it's not on their side.
They can do both sides.
Okay.
As long as they
Great,
do
so
it
that's,
properly.
that's the answer they go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's what we told them. We went out there and helped them and explained it to them. I don't think we ever heard from them again.
Okay,
Thanks.
any other questions? Okay, vendor reports, United Landscape. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I think the elephant in the room is this cold weather that's approaching us. It's definitely, I've not experienced these kind of temperatures in quite a while, at least about 18 years. So, you're typically, the most cold sensitive ones were at Aquila's entrance, which we covered. They were the Crotons. But predominantly throughout the community, it's really Florida native. So you're really not at too much risk. But that being said, 25 degrees, there's going to be some damage to some plants.
Think of the annuals.
Annuals, you got violas, so those can actually take snow on them. Those are completely fine. Don't need to worry about those. That's why I grow those winter annuals for this occasion. But your azaleas, your liriope, podocarpus, viburnum, boxwoods, those are all going to be okay. But your, crotons, bougainvillea, birds of paradise, those really fleshy plants, those are the ones that are going to get really whacked. So cover them tonight and into the weekend. And that's kind of like.
We have next week, that's 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Weekend is the teen with
Saturday, Sundays are the coldest temperatures. I don't even bother uncovering them.
Turf damage, frost damage, or
So that's the other thing is with this cold, it's gonna help us actually, in a lot of ways. It's gonna burn up the wild Bermuda. It's gonna burn up the crabgrass. When you drive throughout the community and you see those brown patches, it's the weeds that are dead. The St. Augustine, I just did a community-wide preem application that is gonna help us regain some of that St. Augustine turf. So as far as the wild Bermuda, there's really no chemical commercial that I can apply. So just kind of have to round up that and do it in stages. I think we've talked about that in the past, but so with that preem app, you're gonna see 6 to 5 months of coverage from any kind of broadleaf and grass. So and predominantly not cutting right now is ideal because it has a little layer of insulation from that frost. So most of the turf will recover. We have shut the irrigation off as of yesterday and probably won't water till Monday next week. So maybe.
Do we actually drain the irrigation system or just turn it?
Prepare the computer, click.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Site one's click, site two's on.
you could damage the pipes, right?
Yeah, homeowners, if they have like backflows and on the sides of their homes, it might be a good idea to insulate them with some drop cloth or some kind of thing.
Or pools if you don't have any circulation in the pipes.
Correct. Yeah.
And the cost of you guys covering plants, which I appreciate, that's just part of the base contract, right? That's not an added fee thing.
We're just doing it to help you guys.
Thank you.
No, it's not something that I charge you.
Okay.
So, like I said, you guys have a lot of Florida native plants, which is great.
So when it turns 20 degrees.
That part. So, there will be damage, and we'll have to assess it, kind of go as it comes. But there will be benefits in the fact that it's definitely going to kill some crabgrass for sure.
Our mosquito contractor's probably gonna be happy.
And it kills chewing insects, it kills spider, a lot of other beneficial aspects of a freeze does help, so.
On the first day, it's over 75, they come on back. So it doesn't matter.
That's just like mosquitoes.
Yeah, I know. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for sticking around.
And I guess part of this though is, were we processing a contract amendment to get them on cycle?
We are.
That's still ongoing?
It's drafted, set the talk with them.
Yeah.
That's the phase 2.
So we want to get them on the fiscal year.
Fiscal year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've actually had a conversation with Brent today. He was here. and explaining to them that your contract year is gonna get terminated with the fiscal year. Because I think it went to February
Yes.
Yes.
4th
yeah.
or something.
Yes, it was
maybe.
an on time.
The last one that's out there.
Yeah, so it was sort of.
Yeah,
short
so
up
the
this
No
year.
price change, just the
No,
term
just
change.
short
Yeah.
up That this year.
Yeah, so the current contract is 3 base years and then one option for 2 1-year extensions.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the next fiscal year, you have the option to do the 1-year extension.
So we're,
So during budget season, you'll decide whether
Yeah.
you're gonna
What we're
take
gonna
the
do with the
extensions or.
so we've got 2.5 years left on their contract right now.
Correct.
So part of Dave's thing is it's an open item. If you put it on that little summary, so we all don't forget it, that way you don't have to ask you the question. I think
Was part of your
Well,
question.
that's on the, that's
Yeah.
the first line and the district manager. We're not there. yet. Yeah, exactly. Right. right.
Was part of your question, Dave, whether or not we want to, because they're optional periods, go out to RFP early? Was that what I was hearing you imply or no?
No, that's why I said it's only a term issue, not a economic or scope or anything else.
If you were gonna go to RFP early, you'd have to make the decision probably tonight.
That's why I'm asking the question. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't of that mindset. If he was, he was vocalizing it. That's okay.
Keep up the good work.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, we're late.
Well, hopefully still wait.
Yep, I'm still here. Good,
He's still
good
here.
evening. Good evening.
You have good dinner.
Not yet, not yet.
Oh,
Having a
okay.
late one tonight. All good though. So on our last survey, we surveyed the golf course and the North Village. Overall, everything was in really good shape. We observed some algae in NV3, which is pretty common. NV3 actually gets algae pretty frequently, but it was already treated and it was decaying pretty rapidly. So we're going to continue to monitor that and retreat if necessary. Some of the golf course ponds, we had some complaints. We had a very rapid and quick bloom of duckweed on a few of those ponds. During my inspection, I didn't see any duckweed at all. So it appears that our treatments were really successful. So that was good to see. Overall, I think the cooler temperatures are, helping minimize, growth of algae and duckweed. Overall, I think the property looked really good. Some of the planktonic issues we discussed in the previous months seem to have subsided. So overall, I was really happy with our inspection. I'm really pleased with the condition of the lakes. Speaking on the fountain for Lake Reinhard, we did get the motor in this week. We were able to get the manufacturer to cover the repairs. There was actual damage to the motor. And the manufacturer did cover them under warranty, so there was no charge for that. The wire, as the board approved at the last meeting, is going to be replaced. That was at a cost due to the damage from the fishing hook. I believe Infomark has purchased the conduit, so we will be putting it into the conduit, so it is protected this time. And I expect that should be reinstalled early next week. I don't have an exact date yet. Still waiting on the wire, but should be early next week that the fountain is back up and running. And then the last thing I had, kind of talking similar to how United did about the cold weather. Typically with ponds, I don't worry about it too much when we have a brief cold snap of 2 or 3 days of cooler weather. But given this extended cooler weather where the water temperatures could see a significant drop over a period, tilapia do sometimes, when the water temperatures get too cold, you could experience a fish kill due to the temperatures. When we get to the water temperature in the low 50s, they can withstand it for 2 to 3 days. But once you start getting 4 or 5 days in those temperatures, tilapia start to die. So I want to make the board aware of that there is some risk to specifically tilapia in the ponds, that we could see some fish kills. I've let all customers pretty much across the state be aware of that. But wanted the board to be aware that that's something we are monitoring.
If I could make a suggestion, because I knew we were putting out some notices to
yeah.
the community, just, hey, we're aware this may cause a fish kill. If you see, just preemptive, because otherwise people are like, oh my God, I can't believe, yes, this is nature, guys.
I know.
Yeah, Alex and I talked today and I asked him to inform the board of that.
But yeah, informing the community is just gonna reduce the number of calls coming in.
Yeah.
Alex, what about applications this week? You're scheduled to be here the next couple of days.
Yep. So I spoke to my technician. He's here on Wednesday and Thursday. Unless it's a major algae bloom or anything of that sort, we're probably gonna just focus on shoreline grasses that won't affect the actual water itself. and just kind of make sure we're not doing anything that's going to stress out any kind of fish. So we're going to kind of focus on other items, trash, shoreline weed, stuff like that. So we don't worry about, causing any extra undue stress when the fish may already be at a critical point.
Questions?
Alex, for what you heard from the discussion about our pond restoration projects, is it just coordination we need to do with you? If, hey, here's the ponds we're working on and when, or is there any other implication to you guys also working in those ponds at the same time?
It shouldn't be, as long as we just, if Carrie can just coordinate which ponds are being worked on at what times. Ideally, we would like to just make sure we're not interfering with our treatments at the time that they're doing their work. Obviously, I don't want to be, interfering with any of the, investment you guys are making. So for the most part, if you're doing 5 or 6 ponds at a time, it shouldn't have a big issue. We can, focus on other areas during those construction times.
Okay.
Alrighty, any other questions? All right,
Thank you. You were like 2 years into this contract and
Finally.
we have not.
Oh, just it's
Pitchforks and
9
torches.
day. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yeah, you and I had that conversation last time. I was here.
You're the 4th contractor, so the magic number is 4.
Yeah, so
Well, I appreciate that. We'll keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Clark, oh, someone's on the line.
No, she's actually at a conference. She called me
Okay.
today and said I cannot. She was planning to attend. She's in a conference, I think in Tallahassee.
Well, I still see the bug trucking by on this weather, so. Okay, district engineer.
So you've got my monthly report, really kind of focusing on the stuff we've been doing in Island Village, and then of course the proposal for the ponds, probably the big things there. Speaking on the ponds, Jan and I have still been kind of going back and forth on some of the ownership and permits. I did finally hear back from Catherine Letzow over at Reedy Creek or Sea of Todd. And I guess she indicated she ran into a dead wall as far as trying to find any more information on the pond SCE2-2, the one by the Greenway or 417 and Celebration Ave. She says you can maybe do a property search, title search, and maybe see if there's some other easements there.
We've done our due diligence,
Yeah,
right?
but I feel like we've squeezed this as far as we're gonna.
Yes.
Yeah.
That pond's really not in bad shape. Honestly, that's probably one of the better ones. It is fenced off with the DOT fence.
It's weird. That's bad.
So it might be some, might be some stuff there. But that is a Croa owned pond.
That we maintain.
Well, and if we assume she's not gonna find anything new, which it sounds like that would probably be a shot in the dark. Okay, then what?
Then we should absolve ourselves of it.
That specific pond maybe, but in whole, because you pretty much got these 18 ponds in the golf course that some were transferred to the golf course for maintenance, some weren't. For the permits, they all indicated that they would be CDD. Maintained.
Owns the entire stormwater system for the area.
Some of those are owned by the CDD and some are owned by the golf course. There's a slew of easements that been kind of keeping track of on this form that TCC to CDD.
So
What was the permit for the FDOT fund?
That's what we've been find.
Yeah, so I mean, now that we're pretty much down to, we can't find anything else, I can get one of our other eminent domain guys to reach out to FDOT to see if they have anything about that pond.
There was.
That's sort of the very last hope that they've got contacts in it.
That's the 417. Yes.
We can see if there's anything, but if Torla owns it, I mean, they're gonna be, their DOT is gonna say we left nothing there,
Well, so if we're assuming that for a second I'm just gonna look at it from a what makes sense perspective. Are we saying we're maintaining the pond and charging? I'd hate for Crowe to go out and contract with somebody like him one pond.
Gonna make that comment.
That's
exactly what I was.
But hold on, maintain it for what?
We mow it and spray it.
And it's part of
30 years.
And it's part of the pond treatment. That's one of the ponds that's on the list that they go out and treat and do whatever they do.
Yeah, but it's not part of our stormwater system. Why are we involved at all?
Well, what stormwater system is it a part of? It has to be part of something.
It takes some of the drainage off of Celebration Avenue.
So it is part of the water system.
Was it expanded when they did? The big-
It's been here since day one.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Mark, confirm, there are stormwater permits that show what ponds are part of the system. But he just said there is no permit covering that pond, so it's technically not part of our.
Well, but
system.
it's technically an FDOT pond because that's why it's fenced.
Makes sense to me, so I don't know why we're going to be involved at all.
There again, do you want to let it go? Because FDOT is not going to maintain it at all. And it's going to be an eyesore, just like 192. We don't own any of that
But
property.
it's behind the fence, I don't know if we
maintain
can. I don't know if we should, I mean, that's a legal question too. Do you want us going onto somebody else's property and maintaining it?
It's Crow owns the property.
It's a Crow Pond.
It's a,
So let's take a step back. I agree with both sides here because one of the things we went ahead and said, well, one of the things we said in the beginning is we can't spend money on land that we don't own. Right? That was one of the things he said. Okay, and that holds us back from doing things. Okay. And at the same time, they're not gonna do it.
Well, and to expect Crow, again, I'm not talking who owns what where, but just from a practical perspective, number one, it's the first thing you see when you come into town, coming over Celebration Avenue. And number two, we've already got the infrastructure established. We've been doing it for 30 years. I know. Cut the grass and do the pond. If we were to have, I would at least like to broach the conversation with Crow to say, hey, guys, here's our costing. I can't continue to do it for you for free, but in the interest of the community, here's what the minimum cost would be that we would continue to do that. And again,
that's the appropriate thing to do.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be paying for private property, but since we've got
That's-
the
yeah, that's-
infrastructure and we can do it for less than they can.
if they come back and say no, then we can
Figure out.
flick the booger and go to where we need to. Now, I just.
Jesus. Okay, he lost me on that one. But going back to what Dave said, are we allowed to go into that fence area and mow and maintain the pond? I mean, we're doing it for
I
30
would
years.
say at this point, we've been doing it for 30 years, so we have.
It's been
an
established.
easement That they've allowed us.
Okay.
That could be a little sticking point with Island Village where we don't want to maintain technically what's going to be half ours and half theirs too.
What's half ours?
That one.
Crow will do that, we'll do that.
Well, we're on path to figuring that one out. That was what I heard before. We have to
I'm just
accomplish.
saying, push comes to shove, that could be a.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
You've also jumped to the next step, but Mark and I were, at this point, we know what's in which names and try to figure out what makes the most sense to recommend to the board. Okay, do we go to the golf course and say, you really shouldn't be the permit holder, you weren't supposed to, you were a private entity? Does the CDD want to take over the permit maintenance like they were supposed to have? And if so, then we need to document that the ones they're maintaining, they're gonna do it to the standards required.
Yeah, and the other side of that though is that there's a lot of those ponds that are inaccessible, right? Aren't they surrounded by golf course property and we can't get to them?
Yeah, there are some easements that kind of connect them.
The CDD was intended to, I think Mark found on pretty much all the permits, we were supposed to be the maintenance.
So this,
We don't know who went.
This is the reverse.
this is the reverse. So now, oh, we're gonna do it. And now like, ooh, do we want to do that? Because that's a sizable increase.
Well, and then
Number of
also,
ponds.
I don't
and I'd
think
also
we're
be willing to guess the golf course would probably like to retain that because they know that they're gonna do it better than we will.
They're not. Have you been in the golf course lately?
Obviously,
No,
I'm
yeah, that's great.
a basketball guy, so no.
So, yeah, it's.
Yeah, usually the golf courses want to maintain them and they've been maintaining their side.
Their side.
Yeah.
So next steps, do you have further research to go ahead and do with the golf course?
Yeah, we need to figure out what seems to be the best based on the permits and all, and then you all decide. Do we go this way? Do we bring it up? Do we
Okay.
just let them keep the permits?
So let's do that. And then you also said if you could look at it done for that.
Yeah, I'll see if there's any way they can figure out.
And then after that, we should have a discussion on
Yes.
what.
So we can team this up.
The recommendation.
Oh, I heard that. Tee this up. I like that.
Yes, one thing real quick is like hole one, I think it's the first hole right here.
Usually is.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
first hole this side of the clubhouse, I'm sorry. An issue came up the other day of them spraying. They do not want us there anywhere from 7 o'clock on. They pay 200 or 100, I'm trying to think what he said, $125 a round right now.
That's the first place they tee off. They don't want to see anybody. They don't want to see a boat in the water or anything. So we got to take that into consideration that they've been taking care of their half. And they should, and we'll take care of our end.
It's really hard to
We need
regulate.
to get a document,
Yeah,
well,
but I
we
mean-
need to get a document in place, and we're working on this in a couple of the old CDDs that didn't have anything, but the question is gonna be, do we offer to take the permit maintenance back, or we just let them do it?
I think that's a discussion.
Yeah, that's a long discussion, yeah.
Do you think you'll have this done by February or are you gonna need longer?
Depends on the DOT part, probably.
All right, just update it.
Yeah, it'll be February.
Can we at least talk the golf course part in February?
Well, yeah.
Here's your answer.
In TCC, I know you wanted to maybe
Yeah.
bring them, and they may have some history on why they did what. But regarding that DOT pond, Reedy Creek gave DOT a drainage easement to use that pond. No maintenance responsibility was outlined in that agreement, but a fee was paid by DOT to use it. And then Reedy Creek gave to DOT a drainage and retention easement for the same pond. DOT was, in that one, it said DOT was responsible for maintenance of the pond, inflow and outflow pipes. And provides for a maintenance reservation by Reedy Creek. So I guess in case DOT didn't do it, then Reedy Creek could. And provided for written notice to DOT will be released if Reedy Creek or I guess Reedy Creek released them for maintenance and then they would take it over. I don't know if they ever gave them written notice.
That's the problem.
Then Reedy Creek gave TCC an assignment of drainage and retention for the pond, and then
Every time I think we
Yeah.
see the bottom of this rabbit hole, this hole gets deeper.
Oh,
and then
There's no rabbits.
and then there was
No, there aren't. It's just holes.
No, they're there. Haven't got to them yet.
the last thing was a deed from TCC to Croa, which just does not speak to any maintenance.
And the reason Dave is I would like to see how TCC turned over the ponds to the golf course before we get into that discussion. Was there
Okay.
some reasoning there? Because it makes no sense to have it turned, I don't know of any CDD that has turned over permits to a golf course or that water management would accept it.
Well, they, some of them, not all, were turned over to the golf course. There's an easement for the CDD to maintain them. Doesn't say the CDD shall maintain them, just the CDD to
Yeah,
maintain.
it just doesn't make any sense that.
That might have been the thinking, hey, we'll give it to the golf course, but the CDD will have an easement to maintain it.
Doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So anyway, but we've got a little more research to do.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's all I have. Okay.
I'm gonna, two things. Oh, please go ahead.
So, Island Village, 2A, I had that there was gonna be inspections.
We did do a landscape walkthrough, landscape and irrigation,
Landscape.
landscape.
Yeah.
But we kind of looked at irrigation, Jacob was there,
Yeah,
but
We watched the water come out of the sprinkler head.
It's not really
Yeah.
detailed.
Nothing came on electronically yet.
great. Yeah, they're still working on the back cyclone system.
That's what we got, right? Nice.
So yeah, so we've done that, that's it, we haven't, they're not ready to turn over the alleys. Or the right of way verges, shoulder tracks, parkways, whatever you wanna call them. They do wanna do I think last meeting I mentioned, they do wanna try to do a partial turnover. I told them the board wasn't interested in that, we wanna turn it over plat by plat. So,
are they installing the roof barriers as they're supposed to be?
yes. Yeah, we actually caught several during the walk that weren't in.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Quick comment, both of the vendors that bid on the RFP told us in the bid opening, made it very easy because the way the Mark did it, the way the ponds were going, the way the street was structured, so. Because we had any questions like, no, the documentation you guys provided was really easy, plug and play.
Thank you. Good to hear.
You guys worked hard on that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark kind of patted himself on the back and he's like, oh, I feel pretty good about that.
Is that why you're always in a sling?
Yeah.
Now that I got an hour, soft load on another project and I'm about hurled.
District council.
I think I've covered most of my things. Everything else has been United contract. One thing I did not get any follow-up on is the sheriff's council and the trespassing issue. I keep pinging them, but the one
That's the
council
big-
just had a baby, so I'm not having pushed too hard, but I will start this.
I can see the pun there. I get that.
Push, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that was not intended.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Eminent domain, nothing new has happened. They've talked about one parcel in Reunion recently, but they don't seem to have their plans done yet, coming any further than sort of team crossover. That's about where they seem to have been hung. So keep you posted if we hear anything on that. CDD goals, everything else we pretty much covered.
One thing, just go into the signs.
Yes, that was my last thing. I have not done the signage update yet, but I will send that out to everybody.
Okay, that's the next step, right?
That's exactly the only thing that's uncrossed out on my list. The follow-up from last week's meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
that's important.
Just so we all were tracking the same thing, what I got on that was to confirm that the county's only going to control warning and regulatory signs. Per the MUTCD, we need a communication protocol. That
Between the two when they want it, or we.
yeah, it was all about communication between.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
if they have an issue, they'll ask us before they do it. We'll do the same.
Okay.
And then to attach some kind of exhibit that the county manager can change things, to
Yes.
give us the ability to change things without having to go through a whole local easement.
That was the three of us.
Okay, good.
Russ and I kind of laughed because the day after that meeting,
The sign popped up.
the digital message.
I saw that too.
There was like cursing going on. And it said it was gonna take a while because some were already planned. They've already planned.
This is for the marathon. I don't know who sponsors that.
Yeah.
The sign up for that.
And they
That was-
mentioned the political issues they may
Yeah.
do with that as well.
I know. Those political issues.
I did have a question, Jan. We had, because we did not have our representative show up right early on, like we were hoping to.
Well, we did.
Oh, we did, okay.
We missed him, yes.
Okay, sorry, I will have to find, did you send out the e-bike language against the House draft? I know there was a.
I sent the
Senate.
House, I believe I sent the House and Senate bills out. He's working obviously on the House bill and just getting with the person that drafted it, trying to give CDDs authority to be able to regulate in the CDD, which would be really good.
Okay, if you would provide the input to it, okay.
We asked him some questions.
And he mentioned you had reached out and contacted him, so.
I'd send him a separate, just after I read the House bill. I haven't done anything with the Senate bill, but just some
He
suggestions.
actually thanked you, but you weren't in the room.
Yes, a supervisor.
There you go.
No, it was Mr. Felak. I don't know who
Yeah, that was supervisor friendly.
that.
He said supervisor.
He did say supervisor. I don't know this is that guy. No, wow, I don't feel that.
Punchy. Okay, anything else for Jan?
I will just type in my sunshine reminder. We're gonna send out our annual update, but I know feels a little Teflon about that, but folks are really getting hit with penalties and fines. And our insurance company has said that they would potentially the public liability insurance and the coverage for board members, if there's anything intentional that they find, any intentional violation where you all have been advised of, this is how the sunshine law works, you should, they could cancel that coverage and insurance. So everybody's getting a little bit worried about it. And as I mentioned, the UF Board of Trustees had a retreat and they got terrible publicity and sunshine violations. So just be really cautious when you run into each other, that even if you are not talking about district business, everybody assumes you are. So just always.
Don't talk about retreats.
Yeah, just always think about what people are seeing, because we are seeing a lot of ethics violations getting filed.
So one question I did have, and Janet's probably part you as well as part Carrie. I sent an email right after our last meeting about our sidewalk policy that we had implemented and the fee structure that we had said property owners needed to put deposits down. And part of my conversation offline with Carrie was for, I would say, the governmental and quasi-governmental organizations. Crow is a perfect example. Is it realistic that we're gonna expect Crow is gonna notify us every time and put a fee deposit down every time? Or do we just ask them and find some formula for, I would say, between them, the county, the school district, any of the, what I would call a quasi-governmental thing, just to say, hey, guys, we know who you are. just put a flat fee deposit of X. That way it's not in and out and in and out every one of the because right now our policy doesn't contemplate that, but they're also not putting any deposit down either for if damage happens.
Yeah, but we're talking Croa and the county or the school district.
And if we want to waive it and just say, hey, we're that's fine, but we didn't think about that in the policy.
Build that in. Did we adopt it? We must have adopted it as a rule.
We did.
So we probably, let's get that in the next agenda, and then when we advertise for budgets or the next hearing, we can amend it the way we want to at the next public hearing.
Right.
And
Let's discuss that, because I got a lot of questions on that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, okay.
Well, and more general, maybe where Tom's going as well, just in more general, hey, it's been in place for a year. We've really only been truly running it for 4 or 5 months with Crowa giving us notifications. Are there other adjustments we need to make this an actionable thing? I mean, part of my concern is, have we gotten a single deposit yet?
That's what I was gonna say. Do we have a dollar from it? Yeah, exactly. So.
And that's my point is, if this isn't practical, then what do we do?
Right, that's my point, is like, are we just going down a,
But we just started it and really we were relying on Croa.
no, we're not.
Are they?
We're allowing Crowa to only communicate to the resident with the ARC application. That's it.
Crowa notifies them in the process and they notify staff and that, hey, permits have been, ARC approvals have gone out. But Crowa will still make an ARC approval, even if we haven't gotten anything from them.
Oh, I got it, but we're getting notified that there's our.
Right.
We should be.
Yes.
Okay, well then that's on us once we get the.
And Dave, to your point, I would go the other way and say, I think the fee structure was reasonable. How do we make that actionable?
Yes.
Because we haven't been doing that.
Yeah, I'm curious now how legally we can make that action. Like, how do we go out and say you must pay on fits?
Yeah, it's a problem with no police powers.
Okay, so again, questions for the next meeting.
If you all want to think about ideas,
We will.
I've ran out.
I watched the news. I think we could make up police powers and just do it.
Okay, I watched the news. Okay, so I guess, Jan, we're done with you.
Yes.
That's it. Yes. District manager, Gary.
Task list discussions, the first item. Shell had sent us a last document on some things recommended using. I don't know. if
Well,
you-
listen, if there's refinements to it, it's just template, so if there was refinements of how, and this was brought on by Dave, and I agree, it's an accountability system, right? So instead of having 3 reports, concise it down and make sure those actionable items are on something with updates, so we don't have to ask you the question, so. I mean, if you see any refinements for it, we can, the goal is to create some way we can communicate more effectively, so.
Yeah, you're getting all that information. This just consolidates.
That's all the goal was, to consolidate the information.
So my question on it, Carrie, is that something you could? Are you comfortable putting all the stuff in? Do you have more questions?
I think I would need administrative support to keep this up.
No, I agree with that. I think we all have to agree. This is the format and this is what we want to go ahead and do.
Yeah.
I don't care whatever, it's just a
Yeah,
well, and try to consolidate.
You would have to solicit, obviously, updates from staff and whatnot in order to keep that up to date, but essentially. I'd love to be able to click this open and go through my list instead of bringing it up and
ask any questions.
Yeah, I want to ask any questions in the month.
Well, it wouldn't be your list. It'd be.
I mean, that was
And you could sort based on whatever.
Thing you're gonna put like in the monthly, like by the meeting date, you're gonna have it up to date.
I think it would go out with the agenda.
Yeah.
Update it and we.
So-
Okay, it should answer most of your questions.
Correct, but it is only active on the date the agenda is posted. So anything afterwards, it's not gonna be up to date.
Okay, yeah.
That's one thing to clarify, because
Yes.
I'm talking.
But if Carrie, I'm using that as a tool so that my constituents on the Infomart side have a way to communicate the progress and it's your tool. So I mean, it's your way of communicating back to us. I just think it's helpful. So.
Yeah, I think once it gets populated initially, it'll be much.
It'll be easier to keep
Okay.
on.
Yep.
All right, so we're all in agreement for Carrie to move forward with this.
Unless you see refinements.
No, I'm just that, and I'm sure there might be feedback as you use it.
Yeah.
2 or 3 months, you're going, what's this? This isn't working or whatever.
Yeah,
That's fine.
it's really, if you have tweaks, if there's something repetitive that we can get rid of, great. Streamlining it, if you want to, that's great too, but. Yeah, at first it's.
And I think some of it is at the end of each one of these meetings. What should go on that task list? What are we looking at for projects that gets on there and then we can track it as we move forward.
Right. Okay.
Does that work for you?
That works for me. Do we need a motion on this or we're all just in agreement?
This is administrative.
All right,
Yeah.
so we're all in agreement. Okay, finally, again, 8, discussion on modifying Infomart contract.
I did have one other question for Carrie. Are we coming up soon on the street sweeper contract that we need to recompete that? I thought we were ending,
I have to look and see.
we only did it.
I think that's coming up.
I think we only put that as a 2-year contract for some reason and we're
Yeah.
definitely.
Contract. Dave actually sent a document with contract dates in there.
Yeah.
There's a couple contracts I can't find. I might have to reach out to Brenda and say, do you have any idea where this is?
Oh, yeah. I may have some, if they were signed like 2021 and 22 timeframe, I might.
Yeah, I want to say Clark Mosquito is one of them that I couldn't find the actual, or
Just
Jazz,
did
I
that.
couldn't find the
We
actual.
just did that in the past 2 years.
Yeah, and I thought we had it because I have the update.
Clark. Or
Yeah, there's one that she couldn't do. I told her, send it to me and I still got Brenda's to go to if I can't find somebody to ask.
it just, if we know that one's out there, if we are hitting a recompete on that, I don't want that to go too far. If we need.
Well, yeah, we don't miss that date.
I want to make sure we're, because I would definitely like to do, just given the contract value and competitive RFP. I think the service is great, but it's $100,000 we're spending a year. I would like to continue to keep that competitive.
Any other questions?
So there's an example, we can write it down and it would go on the list.
Yeah.
Right.
Does that mean I have to read whatever shell?
No. I also got amend the rule on the deposit,
No,
so.
but you can't ask a question if you
listed.
don't read it. That's,
Yeah, that can't be helped.
that's the key.
All right, moving on. 8.
Sidewalk project.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sidewalk project, I'm sorry.
I got
I'm
it.
trying to move ahead too quickly.
So we had $160,000 allocated in October for being the fiscal year. That is spent. I think when I figured it out, there was $97.43 left after our last expenditure, so. There needs to be a decision made. Are you gonna allocate more funds to go forward? Partial budget.
What's the remainder of the scope to complete in the approximate value?
There are 2,400 panels that I had marked in Celebration Village last year. Part of the reason that we're kind of behind in North Village is we've probably done 100 more panels than we're in the initial inventory. It's been 2 years since I did that first inventory.
Is that just new things popping?
There's new panels that are popping up.
We can't stop. We just gotta go.
Take out all the sidewalks? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, we gotta.
No, he wants to leave the meeting. Which I'm all for.
Yeah, so in North Village, all we have left is what is on Celebration when you come in on the Georgetown side. There's about 50 panels, some are partial, some need to be replaced, so.
Using the pond analogy of, red zone, yellow zone, green zone, what's the red zone of risk and how much is that?
The risk is we're getting notices. We've got, 2 notices in the last week of.
You have 5 pending lawsuits right now.
2 notices of someone who fell and they're looking for insurance information.
You can't
That's
do this
probably
fast
2
enough.
more lawsuits.
Yeah.
Right, no, I agree.
So what I identified, anything over a 1/4 inch is an ADA violation.
Right.
When we do these negotiations with the lawyers or depositions, that's one of the first questions they ask. They gotta measure and they're like, this is 1 inch or 2 inches.
You guys putting a little red tape out there on some of the cracks, because I noticed on going back.
It's a marathon.
Was that marathon? I wonder who did.
Did you run the bear?
No.
No, then he didn't know.
I was on like. But I was out there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I was cheered for it.
So we're gonna need more. How much is left in North Village?
Maybe 50 panels and they're the large panels.
Of course there.
Some of
Why would
those.
they be?
Georgetown should be paying for, but we've been through that.
Pull back.
Yeah.
Don't say anything.
More than half of them are equipment damage caused by the lifts that we use at Georgetown. I don't know.
So do we need to have a discussion about going after Georgetown?
I've been there a couple of times.
No, I'm talking about saying
We
chance.
need a demand letter saying we.
Need a demand.
You know what?
Yeah.
At this point, yes. Yes, I think we.
If we think we're in the right, we've got documentation, then let's stop.
I think we talked about that last year.
Yeah, can you give me
Absolutely.
specifics on when you talk?
So
The frustration was at least 15 years ago, The first time I pulled Cliff Akey out there and said, you guys need to do something. Nothing was done by the CDD board.
That's when they painted it the first time and ran the lip.
So that's on us. For not collecting.
But I think we should address them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they're out there doing it, we need to.
Well, what they've done now is they've got the larger lift.
Yeah, they're extending across. They're not in the side.
Well, I'm sorry, just to be clear, we're not talking about chasing 15-year-old damage, right? But this is more.
No, because
No,
this
it
was
just felt
15-year-old 2 years ago. They repainted.
Just separated for a second.
A few pictures too.
Okay.
Picture, okay, good.
Or had, hopefully
we
we still
need
have.
to authorize you to send a demand letter?
Yes, I
Okay, that was motion.
consent.
So moved.
Yeah, go forth.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. I'll
See what
get the
happens.
information, we'll get it out.
Now, we've got to determine what the value is to send them a demand for what that is, correct? With some supporting details, you know what the dollar amount is? You think it's 50 panel?
Well, at least that. At least that.
That's a lot of
There's 50, I haven't even given 50 panels that are strictly,
In the front on Celebration Boulevard.
yeah, and on Longview, that.
Oh, in Long
Leave
Beach.
that to management for what they've got documented. Just
Yeah.
share it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Estimated.
All right, great. Shit that.
So anything else carry on the sidewalk? Do we need to authorize more money to continue?
If you want us to continue, yes, and I kind of put a note in there, we sent our guys to Tampa yesterday.
Right,
They
to
got
finish.
projects over there,
3 days.
But to bring them back.
yeah, they're back today, they will probably go. a
So,
couple more days this
so what
week.
dollar amount are you looking at to continue?
It's really a board decision, how much do you want?
But how would you phase it?
50% that we
What's
just pulled out of the sheriff's thing.
Not more.
Well, where do we stand on the budget for the sidewalks this year?
We've exceeded it.
Or from October 1st, what?
160, we've hit.
Yeah, we allocated 160,000 and that's been.
For the year.
In 3 months, we've
spent
spent that budget for 26.
Yeah, because all we allocated was 160,000.
Correct. I remember.
We're waiting on other.
Yeah.
funds.
And no next week.
So
How
to
much-
me, knowing that there's a long-term plan, I think short-term, we should draw from reserves, I'll put it that way, to continue this project.
How much will it take you to continue for the next 90 days? Plug a number.
We're averaging about 30 panels a week. You're probably 20 grand or so.
Per week.
Yeah.
So should we say 50?
Between I would authorize
3
90
months.
days while we wait for.
Right,
The calibrate.
Well, and how long until the secret code resolution comes? I know we're waiting on that.
That's next week.
Yeah, so the meeting is next week, the agenda is the same.
So we expect in 30 days, this may be resolved, but by next meeting, we may be having a
Yeah.
different. If not, then I would allocate it for 60 days.
I think we should get 60 days, why not?
We're gonna use it.
We're gonna use it either way.
Yeah.
Whether they backfill it or not, we're gonna need to do it.
Right.
Would you say 20 a week on
160
8 weeks?
Yeah, we got 160,000 like we did last time.
Okay, great.
So
Yeah.
make a motion for 160,000 sidewalk repair.
Second.
Right, all in favor?
Aye.
So,
Opposed?
so on that, I mean, my question would be, say step back. This has been a very confusing process for me since we, and I realize we're saving money, we're doing better than we are. Are we still in the right approach of how we're looking to, it's like every time we come, it's like every third meeting, we're coming back saying, well, ran out of money, look, we're. Do we need to revisit how we're doing this? I'm asking that open-ended.
We got a long-term plan.
Yeah, isn't the plan once, we
Yes.
know we have funding to come up with
Plan,
the.
but we're waiting for the second. part.
Long plan fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the plan with the funding.
Yeah, the challenge is, so in North Village, the initial inventory was done about 2 years ago. You got probably 20% more panels are now damaged or popped or raised. Sometimes we'll mark 2 or 3 panels, we pop up and here's a root as big as my arm that's running under 2 more, and you have to pop those out. All right, so we'll move forward with 160,000.
We also need water.
We're doing some utility repairs right now. We'll probably get back on it next week. In front of Georgetown, I'll get you numbers for that. That will be in Central Village.
Yeah,
There are probably 20 or 25.
You guys are gonna be there as well.
please document everything in Georgetown, take pictures before, after everything.
Yeah, I have
If we
the
ever get in
See, I did a site audit report a couple years ago. I did a follow-up last year. I just did them again.
Okay,
A
great.
week or so.
She'll need it for the salary and stuff. So.
Yeah, I got kicked out of her office when I went to talk to her about it.
She's very nice.
I'm not gonna get a Christmas card from her.
Have they come back with counter information or are they just saying go away?
Go away. Get out.
Okay. This is a good position.
Anything else, Gary?
No, sir.
I've got it.
Oh, please, go ahead.
Okay,
I should just default to you, because every item I got a question.
it's exactly, and hopefully we have the process for it all. But in the meantime, FEMA reimbursement, I think the last I heard you said it was still ongoing, but
Wait,
it's on the way.
what was it, 13,000 or something, I think is what? Yeah, I sent a number out that
They're
doesn't.
never gonna.
It's greater than zero.
Yeah, that's all that they approved.
More than anyone else.
What was our total cost?
What the debris removal was, I don't know, 70,000 or something like that, I think. So
It's ridiculous.
And that's due in the next month or so, or?
it should be coming, yeah, and that's split between federal and state. I think the state approved $1,000.
Why even bother? I mean,
The rest is from federal.
I mean, guys, I'm gonna make an unpopular comment. The county did tell us 2 years ago, hey, if y'all just wait, we will clear your roads like we clear everybody else's, but you're gonna have to wait. That, now we have numbers that quantify that to say, is it worth us spending that to wait?
I mean, the biggest cost is debris removal. We pick up most of the debris and put it in our site. And then we got
The rational crap we would get if it's not removed immediately. I think that's money well spent.
Well, I can take that money and put it towards things that are getting us sued. Like sidewalks.
Well, that's.
Good chance to get sued if you leave that stuff for about a month
Absolutely.
anyway too, and sidewalk.
You get sued either way. Doesn't matter.
You know, the lawsuits, we kind of went past that, but the lawyer that represents us does a really good job.
Yeah, they get assigned by the insurance company and there's one who is really into getting the best result. He works
Yeah.
really hard. He's, yeah, and
And I
we
will
don't get
admit,
we don't get input on who they choose, but
I got beat up pretty bad by a Morgan lawyer in my deposition, so.
Hmm.
To the point where our lawyer said, you need to stop badgering my Wistons. It's now a hostile environment. Please back off, so. And he really wanted me to, he was rattling my case and I just wouldn't do it.
yeah, no. I heard that Carrie did a very good job.
Excellent, Carrie, get him.
Dave. Dave still has a few more.
Did we finalize the Croat area map of responsibility?
Well, we haven't. Russ and I have talked about that. It doesn't, we'll do that this week. While we're inside, when it's cold and we don't want to go
Okay,
outside.
there you go.
I think there's 3 or 4 areas. Russ hollered at me because
Yeah.
I said
figure
it
it out.
before he actually had it done, so he's blamed it on me.
Excellent. Something I asked and I think you said was okay with, if you go to our website, we have some, but not all of our rules and resolutions.
So I was told that the resolutions aren't on there because we get charged per page when we post stuff.
But it's not anymore.
No, it's not anymore, because I asked, matter of fact, I asked today.
Yeah.
And they said, no, that is not a thing, that the board decided they don't want to pay to put those on there, so. If you want them on there, we can just direct.
So
Melissa.
I have a question, but by doing that, how many pages are we talking about? Because you see them saying, oh, there's no charge. And you put it on there, and all of a sudden we got 3 terabytes of information. And now they're like, oh, you know what, we need to charge you. So can we,
Is there any legal reason we wouldn't?
is there a threshold or?
Well, is it just for this year or what are we putting the resolution?
Well, I think Dave was looking for some information and couldn't find it.
Yeah, it wasn't on there. I mean, it actually came from the memorial. We had a resolution.
Yes.
Formal program. I'm like, oh, we'll go to the website. And the guy's like, what? Yeah, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
So-
But not for the public.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah, I get it. I
yeah,
get it.
and I agree
would
with
think
Dave that.
People don't put all their resolutions on. Most CDDs put, because most of them are still paying, per document for ADA compliance. You have more documents, so you're paying more. But most of them put the budgets and the agendas and basic information, don't put the resolutions.
I can see doing that, because that's actually an application. It's not really. Because I had several people.
Does the Osceola County,
That county puts
they
everything.
put everything on there?
Yeah.
They have their entire ordinances and everything.
Well, they have to, they publish their ordinance.
But how do we not have the same?
Online.
No.
Resolutions
Or
aren't.
quasi government?
No, I can look up all the resolutions at the county and from that.
I was just asking, so. Well, let's see what we're looking at.
When you asked me that question, I asked why aren't they on there? And I'm like, because at that time we were paying per page.
It was per page, yeah.
Because the only question now, if we would have to pay extra data storage.
So if you're at a certain amount and then you go to them and you say, oh, we've got, 25 years or 30 years of data we want to go ahead and put on the website and so you can go ahead and search. Unlimited sometimes flags that are like, well, it's unlimited, but what are you doing here? That's more than, there could be a threshold. Like you can put as much as you want, and then there has to be a limit.
Well, so I think that's easy.
Let's find out what the limit is.
Yeah.
And then we can determine then how many years back.
I mean, unless there's a significant cost and.
No, I get it. I understand that. I'm just, there has to be a limit, even though they say it's unlimited. But nothing's unlimited.
Yeah, well, I'll get with Melissa tomorrow because she's the one that posts stuff or
Okay.
contacts the website to get it on.
Great. Lastly, after our December meeting, Carrie, you came out with the next field report and had a few paragraphs on roles and responsibilities, which I won't read verbatim, but it looked like you were having concerns or questions on what we talked about last month and what the intent is.
I don't have concerns about it. I thought you guys did.
Well, I mean, you're not, well, okay, if I can read from what you said, all right, you're defining your role as COO. And another individual would be a DM, so.
Between yourselves? What was it? What conversation?
No, it was in the field report actually.
Oh,
After our conversation.
Yeah.
And you really need Angel and me and Russ at some level. Cause so much goes on. I can't tell you how much time I've spent doing legal depositions and lawsuits and working with insurance people and kind of takes away from the day-to-day stuff that I was supporting Russ and kind of I think one of the reasons the field got better is because Russ finally got some support that he probably hasn't had for years. So there's.
Well, and that was to the point, my concern about pulling you off of that because we finally got the field piece fixed and now we got something running and now we're shifting. So that's.
Yep, and actually I had that conversation with Angel today.
Yeah.
About that, so, because the last couple of days have been chasing my tail in bills and agendas and the pond project took a ton of time. I don't know how many emails and stuff Mark and I exchanged on that, so.
Well, and I'm bringing that up as it's been a month now, and I have treated you like the district manager because that's what I told you were.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so I'm corresponding directly to you.
Yes.
Almost exclusively.
All of a sudden.
How has that worked out the past month then? Is that a struggle or?
No, that has not been a struggle.
All right, so are we good with status quo or is there?
I think we're good with it, so. There is some stuff that I still pass off to Angel or just say, can you just handle this? So some of that is just experience because she's been doing it for so long in the contacts.
As long as it gets done, that's fine. I just, as far as communication goes and responsibilities.
Yeah,
After
all
what you
all
put
the
out.
day-to-day contact has been coming through me. All of our stuff is between the two of us.
Super responsive. Yeah.
All right, because I mean, frankly, I don't care how the sausage is made as long as it gets done.
Well, no, and I'm not gonna beat a dead horse, but I'm concerned about the comment that can fix what you need to fix internally. Again, I'm gonna look at a deliverable based contract.
Yeah.
But I am concerned that we're now a month into him declaring it and he's saying, having a challenge on the field side. Again, that's their
Yeah, so
advantage.
but he said there isn't a challenge, so.
There isn't a challenge. He said they fixed it.
We're checking in.
You know, the challenge is we've been bombarded with lawsuits in the last 60 days, and that is very cumbersome.
Normal stuff, balancing a complicated thing in a
Yeah.
particular season. It's not.
It's just-
Get over it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I know it.
It's the same law firms over and over and a few CDDs and they just are.
But I don't think that's an episodic thing. I mean,
No, I
that's.
think that's going to be continued
Yeah.
for quite some time.
All right.
All the CDs.
Before we get there, so while we're on this topic, I as a new guy, a year, it wasn't clear to me like what's the single language for operation? How do I go? Do I CC Angel? It wasn't clear to me. So I've been hearing rumblings because when I first got on the board, it was like we seem to all be kind of getting along and And then it's degraded over this last couple, three things. So I said, hey, riddle me this, what is the policy? And I drafted my own policy for what I thought it should be, so there was clarity about one voice to the consultants and vendors. Who is that? It's a district manager. So I outlined who does what when, so it's clear in my head. And I said, Carrie, am I to understand this is what it should look like? This is what I think should look like. And he came back and he goes, well, it's kind of outlined here. I'm like, okay. So are we all clear how we're handling triage? What happens to get agenda items on the docket? And making sure, obviously, to your point, everything's sunshine safe. So I get all that, but we all agree that a single line for operations, as I wrote, is just supervisors should route operational issues, resident concerns, and service requests to the district manager. I don't do it to anybody else. I don't assign and go to them at all. I go to you first. You then route and manage that. And if I want something on the agenda, I'm talking to you, and then I assume you would coordinate through the chairman and we figure out what comes on. But it's not to shut anybody down, but it's to make certain that it doesn't end up being 59 things on the agenda. So
Yeah, and that's.
do we
why
all
it's-
need a refresher on what that looks like? Because it seems to me maybe there's some unclarity. I wrote up my own little thing of what I would do, but this isn't the me show. This is what it should be. Is there clarity that needs to be before we get into this? Next conversation.
That sounds very much like most CDDs. I mean, that's pretty much how all our CDDs work.
I mean, I think it's clear for us that I can't think of a single thing. I'd either send to Russ or sending it to you and you're staffing it out. And if that works or doesn't work, then it's the problem is
Right.
we're seeing things.
How do you then get it to the board?
How do I get what to the board as far as the problems?
Yeah.
You either call Harry and then with that conversation, I mean, board member, if they say, listen, this is something the board needs to discuss, like there's an impasse or whatever, comes to the board meeting.
Yeah, almost exclusively through that, because through previous, and I don't know if you were on at the time, but we made I don't know what you want to call it, but our understanding that we would just go directly to the district manager and not engage directly with any of the staff.
That's why I just wanted to clear up, because it seemed to be a little confusing to me.
What you described today in that email is pretty much how we operate.
That's where I want to follow. I just want to make it clear that I don't know if we all needed a reminder. Because I know your role changed, but now you are the man. So whether you can do the job or not, whether you're frustrated or not, candidly, I don't care. I want to support you. But that's your operational issues, not mine. I mean, if I can support you, great. So that's why I hand you something. I'm like, I see it, help a brother out here, but otherwise, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
And you guys all figure it out.
Yeah, so that's a perfect example where you sent me that document. Tom and I talked about it and I'm like, okay, let's send it to the board. Let me know
And
if
if
there's.
not, it's great. If you don't want it, great. I'm just trying to help. So.
Anything else, Dave? Nope. All right, finally. Discussion on modify any from our contract.
So I had sent after last meeting, some suggested language over to Infomart and said, hey guys, I'm not implementing it, just curious your thoughts. And this was as a result of the last meeting where there was confusion among some of us as to who was in charge and where. And my language that I was trying to get on the agenda but didn't come through was, read it verbatim or not, it is intended that should we have another change of district manager, that there is a notification process that happens to the board. That way there's no question as to who's in charge, because some of us do that and some of us didn't. That would come as a formal discussion before the board, that they would bring up whoever that candidate is. And that there would be some semblance of a transition plan. I didn't dictate what that is. It's going to be something reasonable that they would outline for us over a certain period of time. Here's how functions and transition, whatever they think that looks like. I'd socialized that with Angel and said, hey, Angel, just a gut check. Do you think this looks, and I don't know if you talked to Angel as well. I don't want to, let's hope she was gonna be on the line, but I realized she had to jump. She didn't see any issue with it. She didn't have any concerns. And again, I don't want to represent that for her. I mean, but for me, did you have that conversation with her?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think you're asked other contracts that I worked for, like managing college campuses. Board, provost, president, and input on who was your manager, district,
And I was very cautious because what I don't want to do, and I was a guy foot stomping it 6 years ago, I do not want to get into a role of us dictating staff stuff. We've deliberately gone the other way. But to the extent that the district manager role has specific legal obligations that the board is responsible for, there's not a qualification thing, but they have specific tasks they need to accomplish under 190. Just making sure that we can look at that resume and say, hey, reasonably, this person can accomplish stuff under 190, and we feel comfortable with that, and we feel comfortable with the overall transition plan, and just a notification process to that end. So I had hoped that that was going to be on the agenda for this meeting, that we could vote on it. Obviously, Jan, I copied her on it. I don't know if she read it or not because she wasn't tasked to read it, but I would like to see that included, especially if they're amenable to it, in the contract, that we need to vote on it or whatever we need to do to move that forward.
So you're making a motion to add specific language, is that?
I've got the specific language if everybody wants. I mean, I can read it on the record or not, or whatever we want to do.
So hold on a second. I didn't allow it, the document in that language for one reason. Nobody knew that. So I thought, listen, we already have a 5-year contract. It's a contractual change. I wanted everyone to go ahead and understand what you're saying, not just, for example, and whoever's going to write that isn't going to be you, it's going to be Jan. So I said, I want you to always have that on the agenda. I want you to have that discussion, but I wanted to have that discussion in the board meeting.
And I just wanted to have it on the agenda so that everybody could look at it. And again, whether I write it or Jan, no pride of ownership, but Jan would review it and chime in or whatever she needs to do.
Right. No, and I get it. And it is not to go ahead and say, because it is in the agenda. I want to make sure it's in there.
Well, it's.
Can I ask a question?
It's in the agenda, but the language.
But the language is not in the agenda that I was hoping
Can
we'd be able
I
to.
ask a question?
Yes.
How did this come up? Did you talk to Infomart directly?
It came out of the last meeting that I took their contract and drafted it. And I sent it to them and said, would you guys be amenable to this? And again, not with the intention that they would execute it right then.
Did the board agree to do this?
No, that's why I brought it up on this meeting. My intention was to come into the meeting ahead of time. If Infomart pushed back on this and said, hell no, we're not going to put that in there, then I would have either changed the language or something else gone in there.
I just think it should have come to the board first before you go.
I'm trying to bring it to the board.
I have a
Yeah,
little question.
I'm just, I've not seen that in any CDD contracts where. it's-
Like a key
where the-
personnel
Yeah,
language?
Basically.
yeah, usually every large company that I can think of that does CDD management does not have a provision for that. So I'm just trying to think of, is there
It's a
additional
common-
liability or is there?
Yeah, it's common contractual language for key personnel, depending on, what you're doing, I
Well,
guess.
it's to an extent no different than the guys listed who their superintendents and their qualifications.
It's contemplated.
It's a private contract versus a contract.
Correct.
So
Is there
I just want to
even-
think about why nobody else has it. Is there, I mean, there's probably no issue, but I'd like to think about the when you brought it up, I've been.
Is there a risk or any legal ramification putting that language out there before it's been discussed at the board level?
Generally, you don't put things on for board discussion. I mean, you don't normally see contractual language or amendments put on for discussion. For one practical reason, the public sees stuff in an agenda and assumes the board has contemplated this and they're gonna come in. I mean, that bond issue, when we put out that this could be a 40, you get 1 million people. So, this is not something controversial, but usually the board kind of doesn't put contractual language or issues for consideration until the board's discussed, this is something coming up. We're gonna have, you're gonna have contracts for landscaping for this. But usually a new issue isn't put on the agenda unless the board's saying, let's amend the contract and we'll do it next
Well,
month.
unless there's some time criticality.
Exactly, or an
And it's
emergency.
not a
certainly,
critical.
So then, let's take a look at it next month.
So the discussion is now, it's on the agenda for discussion, we discuss it, he's proposing language and we kick it to.
Take a look at it and put it on the agenda if the board wants to consider this.
But do you want to take it for, it's what I said.
Just,
I copied you on a month ago. Now, if the board's authorizing you to actually do it to make a recommendation in advance of next.
So, okay. This is I'm gonna speak up, but said I couldn't go into, but I like it, so. This is exactly what Shell was stating. Okay, in his document, this is how we proceed. Okay. We also agreed that it would go straight to you, Carrie, right?
That's who did.
and you need it,
That's who appointed.
and you. But the board has agreed to authorize anything involving legal for us, the board members, to agree. And you just say you're sending stuff to Jan. We never agreed to that.
All I did was copy her on the note and ask her for no action on it.
Anytime you copy something to the attorney, they have to read it.
But we also said at the last meeting, this was the exact discussion about staff doesn't have tasking authority over the attorney. And we all acknowledge that there are going to be things then.
So we could all send stuff to the attorney? I wish I knew that.
Well, that was exactly what I brought up last meeting.
That's, yeah, and well, that's what I said. I can't review this or draft it because I'm not tasked by the.
For a moment, Greg brings up a point. I understand the rationale and the reason. I think we all understand, and it's nothing against you. It's just to prevent that unclarity in the future. So maybe not an unreasonable request. So I don't fault him for trying to tighten that up. So according to the document, what I'm trying to say is that request should have gone to you. Legal language or not, you kind of fluff it and go, I don't necessarily know I have a problem with, and then you put it on the item for a discussion. That then is discussed and we decide what to do with it from there, but. So that's what we're doing, right? So.
And Jan expended no time on it.
Yeah, I didn't fill any time for it, because I read it.
She sent me back the email and said I can't do anything with this.
Then we have to discuss it.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I'm good with that. I'm just saying, I want to be careful because if we keep including Jan in emails and stuff, she has to read it.
I'm not
Yeah,
CCing,
hard
I'm
not
not
to.
CCing, I started that way because I didn't know. Now I don't CC anybody, it's you.
Yeah.
Now, Angel, to I might include Angel just because I know there's some history there between the two of you. Other than that, those are the district management team, so I might CC both. That's it, I'm not talking to anybody.
But, and I want to be, so on this, we're good to.
Is the board-
But in the future, are we saying that he should CC you?
Because my
I'd say
understanding.
No.
No, you should send it to Kara and say, can you put this on the
But
agenda?
my understanding from the last meeting, perhaps it was incorrect. Because we started talking about staff doesn't have authority over you to make sure, hey, your task list and what you're doing and all. And there was conversation about, well, does that mean that if we have questions about something on a task list that we should be coming to you? And I thought the answer was yes, because you report directly to us, not to staff. Did I misunderstand that?
Well, this is what,
Yeah.
there's some.
I think you misunderstood that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you misunderstood that.
Yeah.
That's what I
I mean-
understood.
That's what I understood.
Okay, so you were saying the last meeting.
Yeah.
Right? But you do send emails to Jan even before the last meeting, which we didn't agree with.
What did I send
So-
you before the last
I mean, are there emails that are sent to you?
Yeah.
CC'd all the
Yeah,
time?
Yeah, I get emails from.
I mean, so,
Oh, well,
But-
all right.
but
so
like-
I'm just trying to be consistent here when we're doing it and how we're doing it. If we agree on the process, we'll stick to that process.
okay, yeah, because there's confusion in the process.
Absolutely, absolutely.
If it's something like the World Drive issue, Dave's working on that, the boards, so if he's gonna send stuff to me as to,
Right.
that makes sense.
To
It's
do
between
it.
the staff.
That's not
There's
the
no
same
question.
conversation. I
Somebody
get
has a Conflicts or sunshine or an issue like that, they need immediate, I'm like, yes, of course.
It's gonna go.
I get that too.
But if it's anything that's a board discussion item, I shouldn't really look at it until the board has said, yeah, do this. or
Okay,
something
there's
else.
the answer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, then we're clear.
Then we're
Clear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. I'm-
I think I know. what-
Okay.
So we'll follow that.
And I will tell you the feedback I got from Infomart, we're not decision makers. Angel said this all goes to legal. Doesn't make any difference if we support it or not. Our legal department, so they look at it, we can modify the contract term.
Understand.
Right, it's a big company.
And even though you haven't seen it in other contracts, any of the management contracts I was doing on university campuses, somebody had some authority over that key personnel. You know, not necessarily picking them, but hey, is this person qualified? Usually it was a resume review, so, because I staffed multiple colleges.
And I'll say it out loud, just to all here, my intent is not that we are getting into a selection process where you're bringing me 3 resumes and I'm saying I
Yeah.
like A but not B. I am simply looking to have a resume in there so that we can evaluate, hey, this is clearly a qualified person. I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
But because we've got that responsibility to understand what's under 190, because there's other organizations that maybe didn't hire somebody who was qualified for it, that we can say, we've all put it on there, we've all put eyes, we all understand what it is. Here's a transition plan that you think is reasonable, that we're not dictating. You guys are simply telling us, hey, you guys coming in and here's what it's gonna look like.
Okay.
That's the only intent.
Kind of a bigger picture is, we've already had conversations with Angel about staffing our positions.
Mhm.
Even though it's,
And
I guarantee you, we're staying to the term of the contract.
Mhm.
Probably a little longer, I think.
well, and part of the reason I did this was specifically because at the last meeting, I think Angel or you had mentioned, hey, you may be in the next couple of years, not imminent, but since it's fresh in our minds, let's.
Well, for the company too, we're not gonna wanna have a district manager that doesn't know what the heck they're doing. It's simple as that,
Yeah, but I have asked Angel, you need to find a replacement for me. We've actually had a conversation with an internal candidate. Maybe we start getting them involved with celebration.
Right.
Managing other districts, at least they have experience in celebration. If I,
Which
did
is the
not, if
biggest-
something happened.
Which is the biggest issue.
Yeah.
Celebration too
It's
complicated.
just, there's a lot here.
It's too complicated.
we'll just bring Angel back.
Evil Russ.
Celebration is one of the largest CDDs that Infomark manages. There's a couple in Texas that are a little larger, but Celebration is a complicated district.
So it's,
High maintenance, you could say it.
it's complicated.
Well, when you've been processing invoices, there is so much time spent going through invoices. We do them every day because, you get 20 a day. You can't let them build up.
All right, so do we want this on the February agenda?
Thought that was the task for her to draft language.
Yeah.
For us to review.
Just the word all.
Okay.
Okay.
Consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Yeah, move to approve A, B, C, and D.
All.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Supervisors requests. Jack, let's start with you.
I have a real problem with Croa, with all their signs. I'd like to send them a letter.
Now that you know what there's.
No, I'm talking about the realtor signs that are everywhere. I sent a picture the other day, it was 8 signs, or 10 signs, just for one little condo at Georgetown, which is not allowed to have any signs to begin with. And I'm tired that
Is your problem with Crow that they're not enforcing it or that they're implicitly allowed?
they are not enforcing it, and they're explicitly allowing it because they don't have anybody on weekends to remove the signs.
Okay, let me take that up as the Crow liaison.
Because they have covenants that operates 5 days a week, 9 to 5, and then they're done. Okay, we have illegal lights all over the place.
You can't catch them at night.
We have signage that's being put up when we have, it's in the document, it says you will have one open house sign and one for sale sign, and it's gotta be on your property, not somebody else's property. I don't care to see 10 signs on the CDD property. And I'm sure, Dave, you've seen a whole bunch more too. So my issue is either we figure out a way of assessing them for our maintenance people removing them. But I don't want to do it for free. I want them to pay a penalty for it.
I don't disagree. Can we assess? Because it's not them putting it up there unless they're explicitly telling somebody you can,
Well,
which I'm sure they're not.
either that or we call the county and say, this is littering. And we have them, somebody find somebody. Okay, then what are your choices? How do you get Crow's attention?
Yeah, I've reached out to them a couple of times and asked for assistance and usually on weekends, don't staff on weekends.
We just confiscate the signs.
Well, listen, I have not,
That doesn't help because they don't teach the realtors the rules.
I have not brought it up with Crow, but I think staff has, as I understand, and
They've contacted realtors.
what's the reaction been from both Crow and, because that was my next one, when you contact realtors as well?
Well, just to add, when you say realtors, outside realtors.
Right.
Realtors in town, they follow the rules. The outside, well, the ones you use, you screw them and they're upset about that. But anyways, in general, that's what it is. We did send stuff out.
Yeah.
But the outside one, you see new names every week. I've never seen these realtors. They do whatever the hell they
Well,
want.
it creates an unfair advantage over the realtors who are, they're abiding by the rules.
I mean, is there,
Yeah, my conversation with Jacob Waddle was like, yeah, we'll try and help. We'll talk to our staff, but they're not here on Saturday and Sunday afternoons when
And the board agreed to that.
when it's an issue.
and I can bring it up with Crow. I expect the reaction is going to be, we don't have anybody on staff. We're not going to pay for anybody on staff. Thank you for your concern. And as I expect, and Jack, my point is,
All I'm saying is they're not following the charter.
and I will aggressively mention that to them. I suspect at the end of the day, this is going to be something that if we're going to want to allocate staff time and I'm not advocating for it, but I think at the end of the day, if we care about it that much, we're gonna have to be the ones doing it.
I don't disagree.
I think it's a great legal opportunity for every resident that gets a covenant violation to take them to court saying they're picking and choosing what rules that they can on the charter. Because the reality is, once you do that, you got a good attorney, you can do whatever the hell you want. That's exactly what it is. That's how it's set up.
We've got 8 property owners in the room, so.
I'm ready.
I'm in the 4th floor.
Jan, is there anything, any kind of special assessment that you could assign to them?
It wouldn't go to CROA though, it would go to the realtors, what, because CROA is not.
No, the question is, that's not the question. The question is, can we find it?
I suppose we could put together a rule for cleaning up our verges, you know, that if you leave signs on the verges, we're charging however many dollars per sign for what it costs us to remove them.
We had to hire a $200,000 a year guy to do it, so it's a really expensive
Yeah.
fee.
My rates are double way.
You know, we can.
Free sandwich.
And I agree that would be,
I mean, nobody's gonna pay them, but we can certainly.
my question then becomes the same conversation we're gonna have now, next month on the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Is that really gonna be a practically enforceable thing? No.
I think we're just,
Where the pain point is, we have picked them up before, or you've picked them up. We stacked them in here. I've called builders. I got your signs. They're gonna be here for a day and I'm throwing them away.
They don't care. They throw them.
until they show up,
Don't
like
show up
3
a
weeks
couple days
later.
later and I'm like, I told you, I skipped, they're gone, they're
To
gone.
the earlier question though, agreeing that the county is not gonna come out, can we contact county code enforcement and say, hey, if we document it and we've got the sign and we take a picture, because they're not gonna come out for it, but at least if we do it and send it to them, then code enforcement action.
I know the answer to this question.
No.
No, I'll tell you why, because builders have snipe signs. They hire companies to go out after 5 PM on Friday and put signs, directional signs all over the place to drive traffic for the weekends. And then they come by Sunday night, pick them all up.
Cause they know there's nobody
There's-
in the county.
There's nobody in the county
But
working.
that's what I'm saying, if we were to do it, and,
Timestamp.
and we would have to elect to have our staff do it, but at least our staff is taking pictures and documenting, hey, was this realtor with these signs in these places?
But is it their ordinance or is it just our ordinance? Because they're not gonna support our ordinance. You see what I'm saying? If it's not a county ordinance,
Then
but they're not supporting our charter.
then we would need to ask the county to put an ordinance into the county ordinances that says for celebration.
Yeah.
Dot, and then
I'm not against that.
if we're serious, I don't know how else to tackle, because
I don't know.
barking at crow, I think is gonna not gonna get us where we need to go.
No, I think that ship has sailed for that one.
And I'll bring it up. I mean, I think it's a fair conversation, but I just,
They're not.
yeah.
They don't respond.
To me, their staff is receptive and they just don't have the resources, the authority to do it, so.
Well, the board already decided no, nothing on the weekend and that cut out a lot of resources. IDs, that they cut out a lot of stuff.
We do still have one porter on the weekend, correct? So I assume our guy
We've
is.
got 2, but we're already stretched thin, Greg.
Yeah, I'm that's why I'm asking the question. Yeah.
For the signs you guys usually see on the weekends, it's, I mean, we're looking at probably hours. If we're gonna be taking pictures and addresses.
Saturday or Sunday, when you sent the email, just like, okay.
My question for the porters was, and not that you're hunting them down, but as you're out driving around, if you happen to pass by, pluck them up. Like, I'm tired of
that. We have signs all the time in the dumpster.
Great. Keep it up.
If it's going from like one doggy park to another one or a garbage can. to
Yes.
another one.
It's not our responsibility.
Yeah.
If it's in between the sidewalk and the curb, it's gonna get, yeah.
Caused by us.
Got it.
It's our property and later you pick it up.
But it's taking money away from the community because they're diverting their labor to other
It's
things.
gonna take money away from the community through crow. I'm gonna be practical on that.
No, Pro needs to do their job. They assessed me an extra $50 per quarter this year.
I will tell them that when I bring it up at the meeting.
How dare they raise fees?
It's for sign removal.
No, I think it's probably for social events, yeah.
That's right. They're going from 30 to 60 events this year.
60?
Yes, to
Yes.
celebrate the celebration.
Yeah.
By the way, they don't do Founder's Weekend anymore. Or the picnic they used to have, remember?
Yeah. Anything else? No, I don't have anything.
Well, you want good news or bad news?
Yeah, reality.
All right. Bad news. My kids' lacrosse schedule came out and their games are all on Tuesday.
Killing me. You're the one who changed it to Tuesday.
No, I did not.
Change.
I was gonna do.
Oh, earlier. That's
So good news is no conflict February, but March and April, and if things go well, probably May. Have a Tuesday conflict.
Well, we got a conflict though with a budget meeting then.
What time are the games?
30 to 6:30, depending on, it's high school. It's after high school, they take off and go.
Sorry, so can you do me a favor? Are you okay for February?
I'm good for February.
Okay, can you send an email to Carrie with all those dates? And we're gonna have to see if we can figure
We've
something out.
already advertised. Gate.
Yes, sir. You in front.
April, I'm probably in the same boat, like I will probably be out of town for a month and a half. Late March into April, into early May.
Well, again, then.
Yeah, I will send the dates.
That, and we're gonna have to
Yeah.
coordinate. It's
The budget's the toughest part.
yeah.
Date are we supposed to vote on the budget? No, we had something in April. April or May.
It's May.
Usually it's early May for the
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Well, the first pass, but
Yeah.
yeah.
We do the first draft.
I'm amenable to doing it on Monday nights, because then I'll coach soccer on Tuesdays then, so that works for me. Because it's gonna be the same time, so.
I think we just shifted last year to Mondays for a majority of the.
Yeah, did you have a conflict
Yeah,
on
we had
Mondays?
some-
Jen?
Mondays aren't the best. We'll make it. But we did have problems in May because of Memorial Day and stuff. We're trying to get the. Yeah, we had a Tuesday, May 12th set for something.
Yeah, but we
Was
also,
that the budget?
that was budget, but you also had, May 26th says.
You know, sometimes
Monday.
you just won't be able to make the meeting. Huh?
We had,
I-
yeah, 12,
like Mondays.
12th and 26th. We
I
had two.
think
I'm not gonna be here.
And I think I have like one conflict. So let's send everything to Carrie and let's go ahead and figure this out.
Through.
I would say, yeah, next 6 months.
Yeah, and then again, it might be that one, you might miss one, or you might miss one. Okay.
Do we get a minimum threshold?
Yeah.
Well, it's not that. It's the reality is that none of us want to miss any meetings, right? But sometimes business or life happens, right? Family. I get that. But we just need to make sure we got a quorum to go forward.
Yes, that's what I said.
And also it's on us. Like if we're not in a budget meeting, we need to convey to you our concerns, our interests and all this other stuff. So that then the board members that are here can go ahead and say, okay, well, that's.
Yeah,
This-
the big one is the something. August, the actual.
Yes, yeah, I understand that.
Well, thankfully, school's not in for July and August, so.
Okay, so what's your good news?
I'll be here for February.
That's the worst news I've ever heard.
You left the good news, you missed it.
All right.
Some people.
Shell, you nothing else?
Nothing else.
All right, Shell.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, Brett, come on, here you go.
3 minutes to close this meeting.
No, my only other one would be just, again, so nobody gets caught flat-footed. I haven't made a decision yet. Obviously, I'm gonna need to resign my position before. Again, remind me of the rule, 10 days before the filing period, because I'm filed to run another election.
Yeah, you have to,
I think it's 10 days.
you have to resign. You have to file a notice of resignation in a certain number of days. Become a-
Yes, so the initial election is in August, or likely the election will be in August as long as there's not a third candidate, so that will probably be July. I would have to resign, as I understand it. I'll go back.
You
and
have,
find it.
yeah, you have to file the letter of resignation.
Yeah.
And I'll have to check the dates. I forget what it is, but I know you have to file it to resign for that time when you see her.
From a even more imminent, and I want to put it out there so everybody's aware. There's a good chance I'll end up resigning before that, just from a time perspective of job and campaign and everything else. So I that may be next meeting. I don't know yet because I'm still trying to figure. I just don't want anybody surprised if that comes.
Greg,
in.
when is the election?
August
August what?
16th.
So that, yeah, so that means we need to find another supervisor.
Who appoints that supervisor?
The other supervisors select someone and
So
you
we
could,
bring
you
forward
could either bring
candidates.
names, you can actually publicize it if you want to.
But with that, if I were to resign, and this is why I want to bring it up now, if I were to resign, let's say hypothetically next month, would that actually put it in the 26 cycle? There's enough time to put my seat up on the November ballot, or would that would go all the way through the end of the term of 28?
Is your current seat now turn 28?
This seat turns in 28.
Okay, then the board appoints the person to fulfill your.
Whether I do it next month or
Yes.
as late as possible. Okay.
Gary said he wanted to.
Right here, you got the man right here.
By acclamation here.
He's here, he's free.
I mean, he's here all the time.
He's the guy hiding under the table over here. I'm on the audit committee. I can't.
Oh, you can.
Yes, you can.
Oh, we can take care of that one. real
Yeah,
fast.
well, no problem.
The audit committee too.
No,
So
that's-
I will keep everybody, just don't be surprised if the notice comes through, and I just wanted you guys thinking that way. Again, since we're an open forum now, if that's the rule about being able to appoint, then.
Just keep us updated. And again, I just want to keep moving the budget thing forward, until.
The reality is, I don't think I'm gonna be here through the full budget cycle, so.
No, it's fine, but we still want your input, right? So I want to make sure we keep going. I think.
Well, you have a legacy, so come on, you need to.
That's true.
But he doesn't get a plaque.
Legacy.
No, wait, hold on. You don't want a plaque. Not yet. Yeah, come on now. That's not right.
The legacy of using the word bond, so I'm not sure that's.
Yeah, don't.
legacy.
Yeah,
Oh, that's it. Bond is less than 15 characters. We can put that on the plaque. Right
Put
on
that,
the-
you know, the
Bond plan.
it's been right on the men's, right there. All right.
That's all I have.
Anything else? All right, so motion adjourned?
Yeah.
Oh, Gary, come on. You were here earlier.
Gary, he's super right. Gary, that's good. Regarding the boat concessions on Lake White.
Right.
I heard the guy say that he was going to charge the boat batteries using the power at the pier, which is your power. Are you okay with that?
No.
No,
Charge them a
yeah.
little bit for whatever.
He's gonna have to
Yeah.
pay something. for
Okay,
it.
so you already know that?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Along with the cost of the pond
So we have
maintenance.
your resume for this.
Yeah, I'll make his resume.
Sold.
Busy with
All right.
coming.
Anybody else? Motion adjourned?
Moved in.
All right.
Aye,
Aye. Get out of.
He might have been entertaining.
Did you know that?
Do I need to?
So you know how I was asked about all the resolutions since 1994? One of them was